Hi, sir.
Hey, Prithvi.
I'm the first student to join.
Great.
don't.
All right, let's get started. I hope you can hear my voice. Can anyone please confirm?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
Sandeep.
we can.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's a special session organized in association with Indian School of Business, and we have Richa Agarwal with us, who is from ISB Admissions Department, and she'll be really predominantly talking to you. I'll just give you some idea about what our association over the years with ISB has been and what exactly have been our results to the school, and then I'll ask Richard to share her screen. So if you look at this very clearly, we have been associated since the time ISB's inception happened. That was way back, more than 20 years ago. And because I've been training for the GMAT for a very long time, ISB was the only Indian school at one point of time to be accepting the GMAT, and later on it started accepting the GRE scores. So this has been there because at the very forefront, even IIMs at that time did not have exact programs. So only ISB had this program. And obviously all global schools do accept the GMAT, and the GRE now, they used to accept only the GMAT. So because I've been training since 1996 for this exam, ISB has been one of those schools and is number one in India anyway. So that, and let's see. We have had in the history of our institute about 1,000 plus selections to ISB, final selections. And obviously people who get through ISB also get through some other global schools. So more than 400 people have actually graduated from ISB over the course of the last 20 odd years. And it's a prolific place where every year we have a lot of students vying for and getting through. And last year, in fact, this is testimony to what we are and how this institute has been. So Meeta Banerjee, who was director of commercials at Indian School of Business, she contacted because her daughter Madhura Banerjee had to study for the GMAT, and initially they were very skeptical because they just did not know which place to join. Everyone seems to, but Madhura joined us eventually because she liked the demo straight away. I mean, that was the thing. And then she ended up scoring a 770. And Meeta, who is from ISB herself, she really was very happy. And then she took her admission service, has really received calls from various schools. So this is the background. And this is not just one student. Obviously, there have been multiple students. And this. In fact, when I ran my other programs, Know the World and 99 Hours with Sandeep and others, people have invited me to do these programs at ISB. So I've had the fortune and privilege of having gone there and conducted some programs there. So this was Know the World program that Paru Taneja, who's an ex-ISB student, who invited me because she was participant in the program that I ran called 99 Hours. So this has been a long. There was another student, Abhilash Joseph, who invited me to ISB's, this venture capital club, EVC club, entrepreneurship. And I had to really speak there because at that time, this was way back in 2014, though that was long back, 2014, 8 years ago. But we really go back a long way. That's what. So the student who went to ISB, one of them was Raghav Reddy. And he got admission at ISB, as he writes in this email, in the class of 2019. And after that, he read the book written by me called Solopreneur. And after that, he read 30 books into 2017. So there's been a miraculous transformation in people with the holistic approach that I take to education, not just this. This year, in the beginning, I think around April, we also did a seminar called How Can ISB Students Land Big Ticket International Assignments? This was a career elevation talk when a lot of new students who were to join ISB in 2022 came together and they invited me to deliver this session. So this was that talk. This has been there. So for a very long time, we've been associated and obviously very fortunate that this is happening as well. So first of all, welcome Richa to our institute, and I'll just invite you now to just start your camera, and I'll pin you so that you can get your presentation going. And you can share your screen as well. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. So first, good evening, Sandeep, Mr. Sandeep. Good evening, TOP team. Good evening, all the students, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here in your classroom. And absolutely, Mr. Sandeep, I think we get the live deeds from our campus. So our students, we have a bunch of students in the current cohort who just keep talking about you. So I think it's an opportunity for me and my team to now finally meet you, but we look forward to meeting in person shortly. So whenever you're in Hyderabad, we would love to host you and your team at either of our campuses. So I think it's been an absolute pleasure today joining this session and looking forward to a very interactive and engaging session with all the audience who joined us. So that's a quick welcome from my side, guys. All right, so can I just start sharing my screen? And yeah. All right.
Share your screen. I'll stop my share. Then you
Sure. All right. So assuming that my slides are visible to all. So once again, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this prolific, this most awaited evening and session for us as well. So like I said, absolutely privileged and thankful to Mr. Sandeep and his team for hosting us this evening. And I hope all of you all had a great time watching the match. We just got out of another session. We are looking forward to a nice, engaging session, guys. So how this format is going to be that I'm going to quickly talk about the origin story of ISB. It's very important for you to understand the vision story of ISB, what ISB truly believes in, and then we'll move on to the admission process. So you'll be able to understand how the application process is designed, keeping the entire principles and the culture that we follow at ISB, right? So starting out, ISB is 20 years, folks. We started out in 2001. And when we started out with one single vision to be the topmost research-focused business school, creating future leadership pipeline, right? So for which we decided not to reinvent the wheel, but to partner with the already best existing topmost business schools, for which we partnered with Kellogg and Wharton. They are our founding associate business schools, wherein we have not just faculty and student exchange, but the entire design of the curriculum, the say completely rests with these two schools, right? We also then partnered with the London Business School and MIT Sloan. They are the foremost schools known for their research focus. And that's where the ISB gets its research expertise from. We have various research centers. We'll see more as we progress when I talk about the curriculum, etc. But yes, they also are the founding associate business schools. Finally, we partnered with the Fletcher School. Fletcher School is known for its law and legal expertise. That's where ISB gets its public policy expertise from. We also
Okay, 1 second. I think there's some problem, some sound issue. 1 second. 1 second.
yeah, you can now hear me?
You can hear.
Absolutely, yeah. Was I audible in the beginning?
Yeah, you were audible in the beginning. Just one line lost, I think.
Okay, great. So I just want to repeat that not just these 5 B schools, but we have collaboration with the topmost 50 other business schools, wherein we have student exchange programs, faculty exchange programs, and imbibing the best practices of their curriculum. So that's the origin story of ISB, folks. Talking about the topmost business school, ISB is the youngest school in the FT list. We have been ranked number 1, and with that, my slides doesn't move. Sorry about, I will try and, okay, my screen has frozen. All right. Okay, now I hope it works. Yes, fantastic. So ISB is the youngest school in the FT list. We have been consistently ranked #1 in India, #4 in Asia, number 32 in the world. We're also #1 in the world for the highest salary growth that we have to offer to its students. Not just FT rankings, we're also ranked #1 by The Economist, the Bloomberg, Poets and Quants ranks us number 12, so on and so forth. In short, in very less time, ISB has the topper in the leadership board, and we've been delivering quality education to our students, which essentially is very important for all of you guys tonight. Moving on to what ISB has to offer to its students. So 5 things, guys, that you should look out for, be it ISB or be it any of the topmost business schools that you're gunning for. So these are the topmost 5 pillars of any business school. The first, faculty. Very important to have an extremely stellar faculty. We have a unique model, which is the portfolio model. What is portfolio model? It's a combination of resident, visiting, and clinical. Resident faculty, fairly simple. We have over 70 teaching faculty who are living across both our campuses. Visiting faculty, again, we have 50+ collaborations, over 200+ visiting faculty each year to deliver sessions, terms at our campuses. Now, what is clinical faculty? Clinical faculty is pretty unique. They're not professors. They are not teaching faculty in the colleges or institutes, but they're subject matter experts from the respective industry or function that they represent. So the classic example that I gave here is, you guys would have heard of NASA. So who was the former Chief Knowledge Officer of NASA? Dr. Edward Roger. Dr. Edward Roger has been serving at NASA for over 2 decades. He recently retired, last financial year, retired from his services. He has been teaching at ISB for over a decade now. And what does he teach? So let me ask you, what are rocket scientists known for? When do we say it isn't a rocket science? Then it's not complex, right? So complexity, and that's exactly what he teaches. He teaches managing business complexity to the PGP programs, right? So why, again, it's important, guys? So it's important to understand the application of your learnings, right? So these experts bring in exactly that, application-based learning. Moving on from faculty, we go to integrated learning. I won't spend much time here because a detailed download is there on the website, but a quick capsule that why integrated classroom learning, very important. 1 year, there are 8 terms. You have core subjects, you have electives, you have specializations, classic case methodology approach. So yes, this is going to be integral to your learning, but what is also important is your outside classroom learning, right? So it's a 3-pronged approach. Peer learning, which is 900 of you all on the campus at any given point of time. Great learning opportunity to learn from one another. You have international student exchange programs, so you get to learn from global students as well. There are various clubs at the campuses. There are professional clubs, there are social clubs. So pick up anything that you like. You could be participating or in one or many of these clubs. Second, events and competitions. There are various conferences, events that these clubs organize. They invite faculty from not just ISB, but other partner schools across the globe. They have industry experts. Again, great learning opportunity. We have various case competitions, case comps, they call it ours, right? Again, these are good spikes in your resume. So if you're looking for a transition from, let's say, a industry to product management or consulting, best to be participating in these case comps so that you build your credibility to the recruiter. Finally, the application-based learning. Now, guys, I would like to spend 2 minutes here that we all know that ISB does not offer internships. But why is that so? Because ISB recruits working professionals. You could be applying to ISB through the direct entry, through the EO or the YLP route. All 3 are applicable. But when you ultimately start your program, when you join the cohort, you at least have 2 years of work experience. Hence, internships are not offered to the working professionals. Internships are offered to the fresh recruits by those Ivy League colleges who are recruiting for their 2-year MIM program, right? So you are not a fresh graduate. However, does that mean that you'll be away from industry for 1 year? No, we have internships. We have something called the ELPs. So this is for all of those working professionals or all those who want to move into corporate. We offer ELPs. This gives you an opportunity to work on a live business project for 3 months with a faculty as your mentor. You get to present your findings, your observations to the management. And if it is considered as par excellence, you can also convert that opportunity as a pre-placement offer, as a PPO. So that was for the working professionals. What is it that we have in store for our entrepreneurs or those who are aspiring to move into entrepreneurship? We have incubation cells, right? So what do? From the ideation to the go-to-market strategy and everything in between. It could be building a business canvas. It could be creating a pitch. It could be pitching into the VC, assigning you to a VC or a mentor. The mentor could be your faculty, your alum, or your industry expert. So they take care of all of these modules. They take care of you through the entire journey. If your startup is incubated after this 1 year, after you've graduated, then they for next 1 year, take care of you and your startup, which means they give you a free office space. They take care of your living expenses. They give you stipend so that you can take care of your loan, your EMI, your other living expenses. In short, again, it's a safety net that you get. After this 1 year, if you're not comfortable with your startup, if it is not reached the sustainable levels, you can come back to the school and sit at the placements again. So again, these are all opportunities. Would thoroughly recommend for you all to leverage more of it. Moving on to my next slide, guys. I talked about peer networking. So quick quick glance at how the class looks like. Right? All the numbers in blue are from the Hyderabad campus. All the numbers in green are from the Mohali campus. Whether it be gender diversity, academic diversity, or other demographics, you see there is absolutely good balance across both the campuses. This point is important when I talk about the campuses, the infrastructure of ISB, right? So guys, it's a very conscious decision. It's a conscious move by the school management that irrespective of whichever campus that you've preferred in your application form, the final decision is made by the management, keeping this diversity in mind. They want to ensure that not all engineers end up being in Hyderabad, not all female candidates end up being in Mohali campus, just random numbers throwing here or there, but to ensure there is good balance, right? These are equal opportunities for you to learn from one another. Important data point here is the range of the GMAT or the GRE score, guys. More often than not, students ask me, ma'am, what's that one right score to crack ISB? Guys, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer to that. There is no one right score. It's a range of scores that we have, right? And this is not a prescribed range by ISB. This is a range in which our current students are there on the campus. So this year, students are coming from this range of GMAT, which is 610 to 780. And if any of you all are writing GRE, it's 306 to 339. So it's a range, guys. Also to add here, the AdCom members, when we are reviewing your application process, we do not have access to your scores. We only have access to your LORs, your essay, and so are the alums. When they are interviewing you, they also do not have access to your GMAT GRE score. So I really don't know what is that one right score which will help you crack the journey. So play on all of these aspects, your diversity, your score, your essays, all of them are important components. Right? Moving on to my next slide, guys. This slide is for all of those exceptional, unconventional profiles. You could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, you could be an influencer, vlogger, a yoga artist, a musician. All of those folks who are not either entrepreneurs or who are not working in a corporate or an MNC background, they come out to me and say that, ma'am, do you think ISB has a place for us, has an appetite for a profile like mine? The answer is yes. And that's why I always spend 2 minutes on these slides, that you could be coming from an unconventional background, but you are very clear on your why MBA story, that you now want to move into the management side of things. And hence, MBA comes into the picture. To give you an example, our current batch, we have a producer director, South Indian actress. We have world ace shuttler Ajay Jairam, ranked 13, world champion 13, who's in the current cohort. We have next year joining an IPL player, Prathmesh Singh. He's currently playing for KKR. He'll be joining the cohort next year. So all of those folks out there who come from very unconventional background, this is also a chance for you to present your best case to us. Moving on to the third important bit, which is the alum network. So ISB in 20 years has built a formidable network of 13,500 plus alums. Over 500 plus alums are already at CXO positions. Over 600 alums are entrepreneurs. And we've built 12 unicorns, made in ISB, we call them as, right? Two important pointers here for you guys. The first one, a lot of students ask me, ma'am, what are my chances to move into international markets? Will it open up opportunities in the international market? Look at the data point on the extreme right. 79% of our alum database is in India, while 21% of our alums are settled abroad, are working in international boundaries. They're working abroad, either direct placements or over a period of time have been able to transition into countries beyond India, right? So that's a very important data point there. The second, a lot of students ask me that what happens after this 1 year? Can we still come back to the campus and sit through classes? So look at the special interest groups. They have been specially curated to take care of your life at this 1 year. It's a continuous lifelong journey that you're embarking on with ISB. So these special interest groups, they conduct workshops with industry experts. They invite faculty members from our partner schools or maybe ISB faculty members, wherein they have a good one-day networking opportunity, from career placements, shifts to learning new trends, what's in, what's new. Great opportunity to unlearn and relearn. So these are two great key takeaways that you get from, apart from many other, but these are the two great lookouts for you once you become an alum. Moving on to the next one, which is the world-class facilities. I briefly talked about in my diversity slide. Guys, we are one school, two campuses, one experiences. So the student life is just the same, irrespective of which campus you are on, right? We have an integrated admissions process. You do not apply to ISB Hyderabad or ISB Mohali. You only apply to ISB. The final decision is taken by the school management, keeping diversity in mind. I am again repeating this point because I often get the question, ma'am, did I get less marks? Is it a reflection of poor candidature? No. Your profile is absolutely at par comparable. It's just diversity has to be kept in mind. Second, we have an integrated placements process as well. The recruiters do not know whether you are an ISB Hyderabad or ISB Mohali student. They only know that you are an ISB student. Each year, either this 1 year, the first year, the placements are happening on the Hyderabad campus, and the subsequent year, it's happening on the Mohali campus. So all 900 students travel. Right. The third, we also have exchange programs between these two campuses. So Hyderabad students get to spend one complete term on Mohali campus and vice versa. Needless to say, we have faculty members across both the campuses, same faculty members, they travel to both the campuses. When you graduate, your final degree says you are an ISB, you successfully completed the postgraduate program, no mention of campus, your final award of the alum pass, which allows you lifelong access to library, recreation center, etc. campus, does not make a mention of the campus. You are an ISB student and you will be an ISB alum with no mention of the campus. Moving on to the last piece, which is the career opportunities. I did talk about ISB being world #1 for the highest salary growth. So let's look at interesting data points here. Guys, 900 students, 2,000 plus offer letters, which essentially means each student has on an average more than 2 offer letters, which also means that each student can sit through multiple interviews, can have multiple offer letters and pick the best choice, right? The average salary that ISB offers to its students is 34. The pre-ISB and the post-ISB salary growth is 173%. On my extreme right-hand side, you see a Venn diagram, guys. Again, very important. So for all of those questions, ma'am, I am in X industry. Can I move to Y industry? I am currently in A function. Can I do my functional shift? Guys, that's your answer. 79% of our students have seen a functional shift or a industry shift. Both functional and industry shift, about 65% of them, right? So all of those questions, please shun your inhibitions. ISB will provide you the platform to move to the next orbit, to pivot yourself to the next transition that you're looking at. Your own responsibility is leverage this 1 year, gain as much knowledge as you can. Placements ho jayega. ISB will take care of that. But to ensure that on that day, at that table, in front of the recruiters, nobody knows that job better than you do. Nobody knows that role. Nobody knows the content better than you do. Right? So that's something that you have to promise yourself. Rest everything, ISB gives you enough and more opportunities and platform. Right. So with that, I have, I think, broadly covered with all the questions that we had received. But now quickly talking about the admission process, we have 3 entry routes. The direct for all of those who have more than 2 years of working experience. Early entry option for those who've completed the graduation, have just started working out, or maybe have less than 2 years of experience. And the third, the YLP, students who are in the final or pre-final year, all 3 buckets can apply to the final, the main flagship PGP program. The early entry YLP are deferred programs, which means if you receive an admission letter, you receive a deferred admission letter to join the PGP program after you've completed 2 years of work experience. Okay. It's an online application process for direct and EO folks. Mandatorily, bachelor's degree should be completed. We need a valid GMAT or a GRE score. You need to fill in your work experience details, whatever trajectory that you've covered in X number of years. We need 2 essays, 1 LOR. The 2 essays topics are fairly simple. The first essay focuses on you. It's a placeholder. It's an opportunity to showcase your strengths. It is about what you bring to the table, how you can contribute to the ISB ecosystem. The second essay focuses on the career goals. Very important. We want to understand how ISB fits into your journey, what your current challenges are, where you are, where you see yourself 2 years, 3 years down the line, what are the challenges and how ISB can help you fit into that gap, right? So please spend some time. If you've not started already working on your application, my suggestion, please go back, at least look at all the questions that they're asking. Start in your mental calculation, in your mental notebook, start making pointers. What is it that you want to talk about, right? Scholarships, again, a lot of questions on scholarships that you all have asked. So yes, for round 2 and round 3, we do have scholarships. The difference is that in round 2, we have up to 75% of tuition waiver. In round 3, we have up to 50% of tuition waiver. The first 3 buckets are eligible for our domestic Indian students, which is merit, need, diversity. Merit, fairly simple. All applicants are eligible for merit waivers. There are various components on which you are graded, whether it be LOR, whether it be your essays, whether it be your academic history, whether it be your career progression. You are given an overall score, your total score. So that's your merit list. Need-based, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're working in an NGO, if you're working in a PSU, or basically, in short, your family income is less than 18 lakhs, you can apply for need-based. You can also apply for need-based. Diversity, again, it's a creative space. Please create your niche. Please make your profile stand out and create your own diverse bucket, or make your own diversity niche on the table. You can apply to all of these 3. Finally, you will be awarded any one scholarship, whichever is highest. If your need-based score is highest, that will be awarded to you, or vice versa, if merited. Whichever, you can apply to all 3. Final award is going to be just 1. With that, I come to a closure of the formal slides. Quick reminder, deadline is 4th of December. And I'll stop the screen share and we'll take questions from the audience. So over to you, Sandeep, over to the team, and we can ready to take questions now.
Yeah, hi, great, Richa. So how do we want to do it? Would you like them to raise hands one by one, and then what would be the best mode for you? Because I don't want this to be cluttered. We have 400 plus people here, and suddenly everyone would want to probably ask questions. So how would you like to regulate it? How has it been for you generally, please?
Sure. So Sandeep, what we typically do is that given the initial questions, I had curated these slides. So broadly, I think we've covered the top 60, 70 questions on scholarship admission process. Right. And now we can ask them to raise their hand and take questions. So what will happen is we keep it interactive and chatty. If somebody has a very specific question on an element, the larger audience will also get an answer. So we will reduce the redundancy.
Generic questions, everyone, I will request, so that more people's interests are covered in this case. And would you like it on audio or chat? How would you like this?
Audio helps. Audio helps.
Super. So you can see on your screen, Richa, you can allow, would you want to allow the names directly? That
yes, absolutely. So I have Kaushik from my team. Kaushik will help me unmute so I can see. So we'll follow the order. I can see Vineet first in the queue. So we'll start with Vineet, and then we have Arnav, Chirag. So I'll call out the names, and Kaushik can start unmuting them. That'll help.
Vineet, please go ahead and ask a question.
Yeah. Hi, Richa. Firstly, thank you so much for this presentation.
Hi, Vineet. Thank you.
I had one small question with regards to the work experience.
Okay.
So when you're saying 2 years of work experience, is it work experience after graduation, or would you count work experience while someone is doing their bachelor's? Because considering that past 2 years were COVID, many people did do internships or also full-time jobs along with their colleges during bachelor's.
Great, fantastic question, Vineet. Very important question as well. So guys, work experience is calculated after graduation. Whatever work that you would have. Great, I got muted. Very important question, Vineet. And let me take some time. Let me give you a long-winded answer rather. So the work experience is calculated after graduation. Okay, so any work experience which is done alongside with your graduation will be considered as part-time, right? It's not that we're ignoring this. You can enter the system, but as by a default setting, the system will not allow you to enter 2 full-time assignments together. So while your bachelor's is a full-time, your work experience gets as part-time. So calculation of valid full-time work experience starts only after graduation and is calculated up till 20th of April 2023. The program starts on 22nd April. The calculation of work experience is done as on 20th of April. Hope that answered your question, Vineet. Okay, so we move on to the next question. Hi, Arnav. Good evening. Please go ahead with your question, please.
Arnav, please unmute yourself.
Maybe Arnav is not around.
No, I was actually not being able to unmute myself due to some technical issues. Sorry.
No
Hi, ma'am.
worries.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud
Yes.
and clear, Arnav. Good evening.
All right, thank you. Good evening. So I just wanted to understand one thing. I get it that everything's pretty holistic in nature. You're going to look at my essays, LOR, college GPA, etc. But
Yeah.
what exactly is the weightage in the overall application for class 10 and class 12 scores and your
Right.
CGPA? Like I get it if somebody has a 750 plus, the
Right.
weightage falls because it's like a beam balance, but still, just to have a heads up, what's an approx weightage that you give to class 10 and primarily class 12 scores, to be honest?
Fantastic. Okay, short answer, long answer. Short answer, I have an exact percentage. I of course know that percentage, but unfortunately I won't be able to disclose that. Let me give you a long-winded answer. So, guys, control the controllables, okay? Don't worry about something which has been done and dusted in the past. You cannot go back in the past and change it. And at ISB, we thoroughly believe in that. So what is it that you can control today? You can control your preparation for your exam. You can control the choice of your recommender, a professional recommender, somebody from your professional network only. For entrepreneurs and family business owners, not your family member, not somebody who's your relative. You can choose a vendor, client, customer, somebody who's on the board who's not a family member, right? So your choice of recommender becomes important. The third is your essay. So these 3 things you can control today. So please focus on this. The other 2, the academic history and the career progression, guys, this is something that we cannot change. So please don't worry about this, right? Career progression, again, very important. A lot of students ask me, ma'am, I'm not coming from a big 4. I'm not part of a marquee organization. Guys, the name of the organization is not important. Your current designation is not important. Your salary, your CTC is not important. What is important is what impact you are creating in your project, in your organization today. What value you bring to the table, to the program today. Right? So irrespective of whether you're an entrepreneur, a big size or a medium size or a small size family business owner, similarly part of any of these corporates, please elaborate on your roles and responsibilities. That is an indication that your leadership is showing confidence in you, is giving you more meatier roles, is giving you more meatier projects to work on. Right? So talk about that. These 5 points are very important, which will decide your shortlist of interview or reject at the interview level. And then a final score gets added, which is your interview score, which is a recommendation by the alums. I will not be able to disclose the exact percentage that these parameters have, but the top 3, your score, your essay, your LOR. These are 3 most important ones. Right, Arnav? Right, so we move on to the next. Hi, Prashant. Good evening. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi, Richa. So, Richa, I would like to understand a bit detail about the special interest groups that was part of your presentation. If you can brief me upon that.
Right, so these special interest groups are created by alums, for alums. And this will kick in once you become an alum and you want to, attend more classes, and if you want to upgrade your knowledge. So we have city-wise or online sessions, workshops, which our faculty members deliver, or our visiting faculty, or they invite subject matter experts, industry experts. So we have various clubs. We have entrepreneurship, we have wellness. You could also create a new SIG. So I think they are about to launch, but there's no harm mentioning it here. We are launching a new SIG on sustainability, right? So it's upcoming. The world is talking about sustainability. So there is a new SIG which is going to get launched officially, which is on sustainability. So if tomorrow a bunch of you get together and decide that, we want to launch something in urban mobility, let's say, that's also the next big word, right? So feel free, the school will collaborate with you, will assign you a faculty mentor or a research center. They work very closely with the research centers that we have at ISB to organize these learning opportunities. So basically, these are nothing but classroom sessions, maybe either on the campus, or if it is happening in one of the cities in India or abroad, it happens at a hotel. These are basically classroom sessions. They will pick up a topic and discuss and invite experts. So that's how it is. Okay, I'm assuming that that answered Prashant. If you have additional questions, we can come back to that again. We'll quickly move on to Karan. Hi, Karan, please go ahead with your question.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, so I had two questions. The first question is, when is the last date we can give our GMAT for the second round application?
You can write your exam on 4th of December. Submit your application with the unofficial score, not a problem.
Okay, so we can delay it as much as we can.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And,
But parallelly, please keep working on your application. Don't leave your essays or don't leave other components of your form that after GMAT GRE लिख दूंगा. Abhi, let me just focus on GMAT GRE, uske baad likh dunga. Guys, you're already very tired. You're preparing for the exam. So please, bit by bit, half an hour, 1 hour, kuch nahi jata, nothing goes right. Go back in your laptop, kuch nahi to naam likh ke aa jao. But start building it. It will not take more than 2-3 hours if you spend one entire Saturday, but it is unnecessary pushing your creativity to its limits. You want to get as creative, you want to get it reviewed also, right? So identify some alums, identify some friends who know you well. Apna review karwao, essay karwao, application review karwao. Ki, hey guys, you think this is creating impact? People who know you well will come and say, hey, you know what, Karan? Maybe talk about that episode. I think that impact will be more. So give yourself that time also for review. At least keep 1 day for review, that you could reach out to somebody who can tell you that this is good or this is bad. So that's all.
And my second part of the question is, I am working in a particular field, but then I'm also part of my family business, which is a completely different field. So when you talk about work experience, so I'm both invested in my own job that I'm doing, simultaneously in my family business as well. So can I incorporate it into my work experience when I fill out the essay?
Absolutely, absolutely. Only one thing that you have to keep in mind is you can only make one of them as full-time, because again, system will not allow you to enter more than one activity as full-time. So either you can make your working stint as full-time and your family business as part-time, or vice versa, depending on kis pe zyada focus dena hai. If your future career aspirational goal is in entrepreneurship, then focus on family business. But if it is moving into corporates, bigger and better roles, then focus on your working thing. So that I leave it to you. But yes, you can enter. Only one can be full-time. The other has to be part-time.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, all the best. Very quickly, moving on to Jatin. Hi, Jatin. Please go ahead with your question.
Hey, hi.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. I had just two questions. One was, what would be the tentative deadline for round 3? And the second question was, can you speak on what role does extracurriculars play in the admission? And if they are previously absent, how can one compensate for them?
Great, fantastic question again. So R3 tentatively guides mid-Jan. I do not have a written approval from the Dean's office, so I will not be able to announce the R3 date at this platform, but please give me some time. I will be either sending out an email communication to all of you all, or will be publishing on the website, but be rest assured it's mid of Jan. Jatin, if you're writing your exam on or before 4th of December, please do not procrastinate your process of filling application for round 3. Okay. Only if you're not writing your GMAT GRE before 4th of December, then think or gun for R3. Coming to your ECAs. First, ECS is all part of, your diversity quotient. So definitely it's important. But however, if you've not had a hobby, if you've not volunteered in an NGO, if you've not been a part of the sports club, please do not now suddenly become part of it for the next 2-3 months. Okay, because if God forbid if there are any questions in the interview round, if Alan start questioning you, talk about what impact you've created, how did you raise the funds for this NGO, or why do you so strongly believe in this cause, you will tank. You will not be able to talk about it for long. So that's the last thing that you want to do with your application. If you do not have a hobby, if you've not volunteered in anything, if you're not part of the club, it's just fine. Focus on your essay, focus on building your career goals, how you are going to leverage ISB, what you bring to the table. Those 2 essays are super critical. They are the real make or the break for your ISB journey this academic year, so to say, right? So don't fret about, I didn't do this in school. Now, we've seen that. When we read applications, we see people talk about feeding dogs on the street, or going and teaching in the evening, in some village, or maybe teaching in some XYZ school in the evenings. Please don't do that. Don't do that. That will be detrimental. Okay. Only if you've done it over a period of time, then spend some time. Otherwise, focus on the essays. Hope that helped, Jatin. Right. So people are not asking me second questions. So I'm assuming I've done a fantastic job doing that. So Prishta, over to you.
Hi, Richa.
Hi.
Thank you so much for
Good
coming.
evening.
Good evening.
Pleasure, guys. Pleasure for hosting me. Yeah.
All right. My question is about alumni recommenders. How many alumni can I reach out to for recommendations? Is there like a limit? Because also I don't want to overdo it at the same time. I know a lot of people who went to ISB.
Got your question. So guys, there is only one LOR that I need. Okay. You could holder within your organization, outside your organization. I only need one recommendation letter. Okay. So please don't email me anything. Please don't try and upload anything in the portal. How the portal works is you only need to enter one email ID. It will only accept one email ID. There is no other provision to enter multiple email IDs. So you can only enter one email ID. That email will be sent to your recommender. He or she needs to fill it up, and automatically the submission to us will happen, right? No template, no PDF, no attachment is needed. So there's only one placeholder for LOR. Prishta. Yeah?
Yeah, noted. My follow-up question though is, suppose I have 2 to 3 recommenders in mind and I need to choose the best one.
Yeah.
So should it be someone more recent, or should it be someone I worked for the longest? Maybe not directly. Say I have worked with the founder of the organization. So for a couple of months, I worked directly with him, and then I worked indirectly with him.
Right. So I'll only advise you one thing, Prishta, that don't get swayed or overwhelmed by the designation of your recommender. He could be your immediate reporting manager, a senior manager, or your vice president, or anybody, but he's worked the closest with you. He's seen the ups and downs. He's seen your hits and misses. He's seen your struggles. Only that person will be able to talk about the future leadership potential in you, right? It could be the founder. It could be your immediate reporting manager. So that decision is entirely yours, but let it not be guided by the designation of the person. Because who the person is not important to us. What he writes for you is the most important bit.
All right.
Yeah.
That answers my question.
Perfect. All the best, Prishta.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, Shanti. Good evening. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, good evening, Richa. Hi. So I kind of have like questions which mix like the previous ones a little bit.
Okay.
So the LORs thing, like, could we get it from somebody who kind of knows us, but like not very personally, but like they're like the top in their field? Would that be recommended or not really? I guess you kind of said
if you worked with them closely, if they've like I was just talking to the earlier candidates as well, right? If they've worked with you closely, please go ahead. They could be subject matter experts in their domains, but if they've not worked with you, because the form is not technical, right? It is not to assess or ascertain your technical or functional expertise. It's about those softer aspects of Shanti, which possibly you were not able to build in your application form, right?
Mhm.
We have
Yeah.
one version of Shanti, which you have filled in, which is your essay, the other blah, 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 la, di, da, da. But there is this another form, which is the LOR, which is another lens, which is coming like as in another perspective from somebody who's worked with you. And more often than not, we realize that our knowledge or our information about us is only this much, but a third person brings us another perspective and we get to know those things that, oh yeah, I didn't know that's my strength. That's the idea. That's why we are soliciting this additional information about you. The letter of recommendation acts as additional information of strengths and weaknesses about Shanti or any other candidate.
Yeah,
So,
it's just that, I've already done my master's at the US and I actually came back and then had this experience in the defense industry, whatever. But like, I'm just wondering, like, does it have to be a professor from my master's or like, someone I've worked with over the last few years?
Oh, no, professor, please. No, nobody from the academia, right? So professors strictly no. Somebody from the professional network only.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the unofficial submission, is that okay? Or like, what if we don't have the GMAT score by 4th of December?
Unofficial scores absolutely work. Absolutely.
And if we're not able to give by 4th December for whatever reason, then what's the
Then
path?
R3 is your next bet. If you are not writing your exam on or before 4th of December, then automatically you swim into R3 pool.
Okay, I was just wondering because like you said that the AdComs cannot see our scores. So I was just like curious. Can we still submit the application without the scores?
No, you will not be able to submit. So in the evaluation process, we don't get biased, or I think that's a fantastic system that we don't get our biases created looking at the scores. So none of the scores are visible to us. We only look at those subjective elements like your essays and the content part of it. But score is a mandatory component for you to submit the application. You will not be able to submit. You will not be able to go beyond if the score is missing in the form.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much.
All right, all the best.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Hi, Aditya. Please go ahead with your question. Good evening.
Hey, hi, Richa. Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear.
Hi. My question is, while filling in the application on the ISB portal for round 2, I keep getting this option of saving it at various stages, right?
Right.
So for due to some reason, like I see myself not giving GMAT before 4th of December, can I use the same application progress in round 3?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay,
Nothing
I can.
changes.
So
Yeah,
nothing changes,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Nothing about the process changes in R2, R3. It is the same 2 essays for R1, R2, R3 for this academic year.
No, my point is if I've already filled in these stuff, do I need to
Nothing,
redo it?
nothing is erased. Nothing. You start where you last left it.
All right, great. Thanks. That was it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Aditya. All the best. Moving on to Vedant. Hi, Vedant. Good evening. Yes, we can see you unmuted, but sorry, cannot hear you.
Am I audible? Hello, right now?
Now you are. Now you are. Yes, please go ahead.
So hi, ma'am. I'm currently in my final year of graduation in St. Xavier's and I'll be applying to the YLP program.
Great.
So I have a couple of questions. The first one being, how much do college GPAs value? Second, for the need-based scholarship, what kind of documents are we supposed to submit? And third, there's a common narrative while applying to MBA colleges for hiring an admissions consultant. So what do you think about it?
All right. So the first one regarding the score for YLP folks, definitely CGPA plays a very important role because right now the career experience hai nahi, right? So for YLP folks, yes, all the extracurricular activities, club activities, they all make your profile look very meaty, right? So, and also it gives you an opportunity right now applying early, you can start building on your profile. It is the right opportunity for you to get enrolled into a club or start volunteering or start getting into extracurricular stuff. So for YLP folks, it's important. Second, coming to the scholarship element, for need-based, we will need the ITR form. For YLP folks, right now, we don't need anything. Only in the year, which is maybe 2 years from now or 3 years from now, depending on whether you are final or pre-final year student, only X number of years from now, when you are about to join the cohort, that time, my process team, I have a technical team who will reach out to you. We'll open up the scholarship form, we'll open up the career employment tab, etc. There for need-based, you will have to upload the ITR of your family. So in case of male candidates, it is parents and spouse. In case of female candidates, all of this is given in the application portal also, don't worry. For female candidates, before marriage parents, after marriage spouse. So this is the ITR that we need in case of the need-based scholarship. The third point regarding the take, guys, so I think talking to Vinith or maybe one of the candidate where I was saying that give yourself the time to get it peer reviewed. Okay, so there are a lot of students who are unable to find help or support within the network, right? So in that case, if you want to seek professional help, please feel free to. There are various alums who are running their own professional organizations. There are enough and more admissions help that you are getting. So please get help if you really need it. But my only one suggestion here is that, guys, please draft your own story. The first draft always has to be yours. We're not looking at great vocabulary. We're not looking at ornamental English. We're looking at a pure, honest story. We are able to relate to that story when we're reading it, right? So let that first version be yours. They will only guide you and help you to trim it, to create impact out of that content. Okay, so don't leave everything on that. Your career goal is your story, cannot be somebody else's story. Nobody can paint that picture for you, right? Your challenges, your ups and downs, your strengths and your weaknesses, you and only you know yourself the best. Others can only bring in a templated answer. So avoid that, but there's no harm in reaching out to help if you need one. So hope that answered. And okay, I can't see him on my screen. So do let me know if that's helped. I'm happy to take a repeat question maybe. And with that, we move to Harish. Hi, Harish. Please go ahead with your question.
Yes. Hi, Richa. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, you had a prerequisite for a bachelor's degree. I just wanted to know that if someone is a CA, like I'm a CA, I don't hold bachelor's degree. So would that suffice?
Absolutely. CA degree is equivalent to bachelor's degree. Yes.
Okay, then I am not holding my membership number, but I have like qualified my finals.
That's okay. You have your final certificate with you, right? That's all.
You're right.
That's all that we need in the portal. You need to upload that. That's it.
Okay. And one more question. I just wanted, can you just elaborate more on the two types of essays, like briefly?
Sure. So the topic is also given, Harish, in the application form, but the first essay focuses on you, the unique you. It's a creative space to highlight your best story. So it is about what you bring to the table, what you bring to the ISB ecosystem, how you can contribute to the ISB ecosystem. That's the first essay. The second essay focuses on your career goals. Okay, so what you're doing vis-a-vis where you see yourself 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we leave that to you. So that essay is very important for ISB to understand how ISB can pitch in and how ISB can help you. So these are the two essays, and the topic is given. The word limit is 400 for each of these essays. All of it is there in the application form, please. In fact, I would request Kaushik if you could just quickly paste that link so that, if somebody, while we are talking, while we're at this session, if you want to guys parallelly open that window, you could do that. So Kaushik, just paste that link. Maybe that will help our students who can pick up questions maybe. So hope that answered, Harish.
Yeah, thank you.
Application link you're talking about, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Kaushik. And we move on to Hi, Sudhindra. Please go ahead with your question. Good evening.
Richa, you're talking about the application link to be posted, yeah?
Yes, Kaushik.
I've already done that. I'll do that again. No worries.
Oh, right, great. Sorry, I'm not keeping an eye on the chat, Kaushik.
No worries. No, that's okay.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, Sudhindra. Good evening.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. Thank you so much for this specific opportunity at first. I have two particular questions. One related to the scholarship point. I have a specific question here.
Yeah.
So if I get a scholarship from ISB, so will it be covered in studio accommodation? Because I have a dependent mother, so I need to take care of her as well. So will it be covered in?
Yes, absolutely. Irrespective of which accommodation you're taking, quads or studios, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my second year question, please don't take me otherwise.
No, not at all.
When you see in the first slide itself, so you talked about the Wharton as well as London Business School, and also you have collaborations with them as well. So, but my specific question here is, ISB is such a successful school by doing 1 year, and also many universities offer 2 years. So could you please bring some light on this, like 1 year is better or 2 years is better? I'm just
Oh,
bit
very,
confused
very
on this.
important question. You've actually asked a very, very important question, the 1 year MBA versus the 2 year MBA. So Sudhindra, yes, you're very right. ISB not just offers the best 1 year MBA program in India, but we are the pioneers of launching the 1 year MBA in India. Right? The Indian definition of MBA was always 2 years. But actually, if you look at the history, many years ago when Harvard actually launched, it was called as the MIM program. The 2 year programs are called the MIM programs. MBA has historically always organically been the 1 year program. All right. So, however, what is better with respect to knowledge? Let's first talk about the most important one. You're really not losing out on anything. Whatever that the Ivy Leagues have to offer in 2 year MIM programs is being dutifully covered in 1 year itself. Be it contact hours, be it curriculum, be it core modules, be it electives, be it specializations. Also, they offer internships. We offer ELPs, the experiential learning programs, right? You work as an intern. So we cover everything. And now your question will be, how are we managing that in 1 year? So in 2 year program, you have your winter vacations, or rather winter internships, summer internships, term internships, exam breaks. There are various breaks. After one term gets over, before you swim into another term, you get about 1 week's time, etc., to sort of work on projects, assignments. Here in ISB, 1 year, there are no holidays. If on Friday your term 1 gets over, Saturday, Sunday are exams, Monday term 2 starts. Even if you're working on ELPs, there is those 3 months is not chutti time. During the day, you are sitting through the classes from morning 8 o'clock to evening 6 o'clock. Then after 6 o'clock, you will be working with the faculty for that organization. So it is working round the clock. It's going to be a complete rigorous program that you're signing up for. You've got to be prepared for that. So that's why we're able to crunch all of that. So if I remove all of those leaves, breaks, etc., the 2 year program, the 24 program essentially boils down to 16 effective learning contact hours. Hence, we're able to cover that in 12 months, 13 months essentially. So nothing to lose at all. The second most important thing is that, guys, if you are a working professional, if you want to do a management program after having certain years of program, always a 1 year program is recommended, right? 2 year MIM program is for those who immediately after their graduation, immediately after their bachelor's, want to do a master's program. So if you are a working professional, why do you want to be away from your salary, your fancy salary for 2 years? So it's not just the program cost, it's also plus 1 year of the potential salary that you could have drawn, right? So look at the ROI of the MBA you're essentially getting into. You're paying a huge price in the 2 years. So hence for working professionals, the best is, why take the opportunity cost? Do the 1 year MBA program, you get a higher, better salary. The learning, the knowledge part is also there, and you're back to working, you're back to industry in the next year. So all in all, for working professionals, 1 year is the most preferred one. And hence, ISB was the pioneer to launch it because it understood that need of the market. So this is exclusively, that's why, for working professionals. Hope I was able to cover the important points, and hope you got your answers, Sudhindra.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to Sriniti. Hi, Sriniti. Please go ahead with your question. Good evening.
Hi, Richa. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for asking me. Absolutely doing fantastic. Thank you so much. How about you?
I'm doing great. It's actually the second time I'm talking to you. I've already met you in person once.
Oh, which is where? Which city?
This was in Chennai, actually.
Chennai. Aha, lovely. R1? Was it in August?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Great.
So I just have one question for you. So I did go through, I might be wrong, but this is my perception. Please correct me if I do.
Sure.
I did go through a lot of alumni profiles, and I also did speak to a lot of them from ISB. The thing about them is that all their profiles had very niche, things like they were part of some sort of media company, or they were an excellent athlete and things like that. My profile is quite generic in a way where I have a good GPA, I've done fairly well at work, but I don't have anything that puts me apart. Is there anything that I can do to, bring out that niche in my profile?
Sure. So I think, Shruti, well, not all profiles will you see such spikes. It just so happened that whatever names that you've taken, they're absolutely very exclusive niche profiles. Media industry, it's a very niche profile or a niche segment of PGP MBA. We have less than 5% of our current students who represent that industry. Sports person, maybe 1 or 2. Right. This year we only have Ajay Jairam. Next year, so far, we only have an IPL player. So these are very, very niche profiles, unfortunately, that you sort of just come across, and hence that question. However, how you can build your niche is that, Srinidhi, for ISB, right? Understand, that's why I spent some time on the vision of ISB, that ultimately we are looking at building future leadership. So we are looking at future leaders. So if you have, if you have a great story from a professional career progression to talk about, don't also shy away from talking about. I think you would have heard me talk about this in Chennai as well, that I am someone who always recommends somebody to talk about the failure story also, guys. Right? There's no harm. Do not shy away from talking about your challenges. There's no harm in accepting that I don't know this. It's only once you accept yourself, are you ready to learn? That's the first step for learning. Accepting that I don't know. So these are great stories. We are ultimately looking for future leaders. So focus, if you think that this is not a niche, this is not a spike in your current application form, no problem. Focus on what you bring to the table. So your academic, you said your CGPA is great. Fantastic. That's taken care of. So your whichever exam score, GMAT, GRE, I'm sure you must be trying to ace that as well. Choose your recommender wisely. Onboard him in your journey. Why this MBA is important to you, why ISB is important to you, why those 40 minutes of that recommender is important. Block his calendar. Let him know that on a Saturday or a Sunday, please feel free and spend those 40 minutes. Let him write that application or that LOR for you in a very thorough peace of mind. Talk about those 2 essays, spend time with those 2 essays, Srinidhi. So this is my only recommendation to you. These are very, very critical. While yes, the ECAs, the other activities, etc., bring in spikes, but if you do not have it, no problem. You have enough and more room to show what you bring to the table, right? Your career essay, your uniqueness story. Focus on that.
Thank you so much, Richa.
Yeah, all the best. Okay, and we move on to next. Sorry, I don't like taking initials, but it just says MK Jha. So, Mr. Jha, can you please go ahead with your question?
Hi, Richa.
Hi, good evening. Hi, can I have your name, please?
Yeah, so I'm Mukesh.
Hi, Mukesh.
Hi.
Yes.
So Richa, with the last speaker, you spoke about the leadership thing. So I come from the defense background. I have about 20 years of experience. I'm colonel in the Indian Army. So,
right, great.
My question to you is, like, you have your PGP program and also you have your PGP Max program.
Absolutely.
So now at this stage, with 20 years behind me,
yes.
What do you suggest me? I mean, how are these 2 programs different from each other? Because one question which is there in my mind is, the kind of the correlate that I'll be having in the PGP program. So, I mean, what do you suggest? Which is a better program for me?
Absolutely. Sure, Mr. Mukesh. So what happens is that with respect to number of years of experience, you're absolutely eligible to both the programs, right? PGP program, yes, we do have 4Gs every year. 22 to 25 is the range or the work experience range in which we operate. Also for Max, the eligibility is 10 plus years. So you are eligible for both the programs. Now, how they are different, all right? The first difference is that for all of those candidates, PGP program is a 1-year residential program. PGP Max is a 15-month modular program. It's not a full-time program. So if you feel that you cannot pull the plug for 1 year from your corporate life or whichever assignment that you're part of, you want to upgrade as well as work, then that's where the EMBA programs come into the picture, be it PGP Pro or PGP Max. But if you are right now in a position, if you are comfortably placed with respect to your personal and professional commitments, you can pull the plug on your confirmed monthly income, because you will not be working for this 1 year, right? So a lot of calculation, financial calculation has to go behind this. If you're comfortable with that, please go for PGP, because I am assuming after serving for the long-term service that you call, you want to move into corporate, right? PGP gives you that sure shot placements, while the executive MBA portfolio of ours do not have placements for the students. So you have to keep that in mind. But ultimately, it all boils down to the convenience of the students. If you can for 1 year do a residential program, any day, please go for a flagship. Not for ISB, any other school, always go for the flagship programs. But for whatever reasons, commitments, you cannot pull the plug on your corporate life, or you cannot pull the plug on your work assignments, go for a modular program, any of the executive MBA programs that we have to offer. I think I can't see Mr. Mukesh on my screen, but yes, please go ahead. Yes.
Hi, thanks, Richa. Thanks a lot. You know, actually the question was fine. I think take on the the residential program. I think
yes,
I've
fantastic.
done my calculations and I'm mentally prepared.
Great, exactly. Great.
So now the question comes, when finally the cohort which I'll be having. So of course, the cohort will be having about 3 to 5 years of experience who will be there with me. And
yes,
finally, when you talk about, going in for the, the placements.
Yes.
So will I be considered along with them, or I have a different, because, I'll be having a very different kind
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very important question again, and not just for you, for all the other folks who've got 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, varied range of experience. So definitely we don't compare all of these profiles. They are unique in their own little way. So 2 to 4, 4 to 6. So every 2 years of experience, they are the specific brackets. All right. At the time of recruitment, 10% of our cohort belongs to the senior executive club, 10 to 12% each year. They are folks with more than 10 to 12 years of experience. And these are the profiles, if you see every year, 10 to 12% of them bag a senior leadership or a CXO level position. This is exactly those set of people who bag those roles. So for all the 4Gs, all of those who come from defense background or armed forces background, they're typically the ones who all the e-commerce folks or all the big consulting firms hire as directors, partners, senior director level positions. For e-commerce, Amazon recruits heavily. They will come with a very, very specific niche, exclusively designed profile for you, wherein you'll either be handling the first mile or the last mile supply chain. You'll be heading the entire system for them. So mostly all of these students get recruited there. Or you could also get into consulting, and ultimately you'll be back to consulting Government of India only. So they hire folks who are consulting India or any other companies in the defense space itself. So again, these are the two options. You'll explore more. So this is my limited knowledge of whatever conversations that I've had with current students and alums, that mostly they pick up the e-commerce or the consulting options. You'll explore more once maybe you're on the campus. But yes, these are not comparable. Your 20 years of experience will be considered and will take you to the next level.
Okay, one last final thing, Richa.
Sure.
When you say about the letter of recommendation, so now
Yes.
my colleagues or my the hierarchy has been in a total different scenario. They are not
Right.
generally very current on the emails and other things. So how can I
Great.
get a because if you will send them, maybe
Yeah.
they may not even, because some of them would be in such a place that, and then I have so many bosses. Every 2 years my
Right.
changes, right?
Right.
So and somebody from the corporate may not know me so well.
Right.
So how do I?
So basically, if you could, definitely we need somebody from the professional network. Personal email ID also works. I do understand that for all folks from Government of India or from the banking industry, there are firewalls, the emails don't get delivered, etc. But if you could just request them to check their personal ID. So what happens is, if today you go back to the application form and you fill in the email ID, immediately today in next 5 minutes, the email will be triggered to your reporting manager. So if they can just open it on their mobile itself, it's just an online form. They will be able to fill it up from their mobiles itself. And these days, all smartphones are linked to the Gmail IDs at least. Right. So if you could just guide them, this initial step will be very helpful, because there is no way around. There's no other way to sort of bypass this.
Fine. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richa. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So we move on to our next question. And this one's from, hi, Nishta. Good evening. Nishtita, I don't know. I'm sorry if I mispronounced.
Hi. Yeah, it's Nishtha.
Nishta, yeah. Hi.
Yeah, so basically I wanted to know that for the YLP route, you said you don't count internships as full-time experience. So when we choose a recommender, would you advise me to choose someone from the someone I know from the internships or someone from the club societies, or who would be the ideal recommender in my case?
For YLP students, and only for YLP students, you can reach out to your faculty. Okay. Only for YLP. Okay.
So
So
does that
for
make a
YLP
difference?
students right now in stage 1, if you already logged in, I think Kaushik has already pasted the link. If you just parallelly open that while we are here, in stage 1, recommendation letter is not required. We only need your academic details if you've participated in any clubs, etc. So there are other activities, hobbies, you can mention your internships, etc. there. Your recommendation portal will open up only next year, which is for stage 2. So from now to your stage 2, only for YLP students, we give you about 8 to 10 months time to prepare for your GMAT GRE. It's a beautiful, flexible option that YLP students have. It's only then we will need a recommendation letter. And at that stage, only for YLP, it's okay to reach out to your faculty, to somebody from academia. You could also reach out to somebody from internship, but definitely reach out to faculty as well. Not a problem.
I also wanted to know, like you mentioned December 4 as a deadline. Is this the same deadline that we follow for the YLP?
No, YLP deadline is 26th March. We just recently concluded our round 1, which was 14th of October. Now round 2 for YLP, guys, this is YLP conversation happening. YLP is March 26th.
Fine. And after that, the applications would open next October, right?
Yes, for next year. If you are in pre-final year, you can apply again next year.
Yeah, that would be my case. Right?
Yeah. And for stage 2, the deadline is 31st August. So if you're applying to YLP right away, you can parallelly start working on your GMAT, GRE, etc. You don't have to wait till March because you get enough and more time. Because after March, you just get about 5-6 months. But from now on, you can start working. Any which ways you'll need a GMAT, GRE. If not right now, maybe if you're applying next year, score is valid for next 5 years. So you can submit it anytime.
So basically, if I apply now, I have time till August to take my GMAT.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, all the best. And we move on to hi, Piyush. Good evening. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi. Yeah, I have 2 questions. One is, in case I apply and I do get admission into ISB, but for some personal or medical reasons, I'm not able to join in the next batch. Is there an option to defer my admission to the next year?
Absolutely.
And one more question is, in case I do get admission, but for some reason I reject it, can I apply? Will I be eligible to apply again in the next year?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, and absolutely for both the questions.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
a seamless
Thank you.
process. No magajmari required. Just send an email to us. It will be taken care of.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, all the best. Hi, Adarsh. Good evening. Unmuting you. Yeah.
Good evening, Richa. This is the 3rd time we are meeting. First time I met you in Mumbai. Second time I met you in Pune, and this is the 3rd time. So thank you so much for the seminar. My questions are, the first question is, when we are as ISBs incorporated with Kellogg's or Wharton and Harvard, so how does that work? Means I think I know that ISB have a great system that we need to bid for the courses. Sorry.
Bidding. Yes.
Bidding.
If you attended the recent Pune session, I think there was a lot of discussion which happened on bidding.
Yeah, so I was the only one. So we discussed on this. So I would like to know, once I bid for the program, so after, if I am selected, what happens and how it impacts me?
Okay, so if you're selected, so see, with respect to financial implication, everything is included in your program fee, because if you are attending, let's say, marketing here, instead of here, you're going to Kellogg's to attend it. So the program fee, etc., is included. Financial impact would be the travel, the additional to and fro travel, and maybe other incidental charges, because your stay on the campus is also covered. It's your other living expenses, which you'll have to be bearing additionally. That's the only impact, but otherwise it's all win-win situation. It's a great spike in your resume. You've let's say done XYZ module in Kellogg's, Wharton, LBS. These are all topmost schools. Name them and we have it. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful opportunity, networking opportunity with global schools, global students, understanding the entire ecosystem of that country, the struggles and the challenges. Also, suppose if in future, if you want to apply in an organization of that country, you know the economic stuff as well. So I think great learning opportunity. You should go for it.
Yeah, means after bidding, I would like to know the process. Means, do we have interviews or something like that?
Nothing. That's it. Bidding. That's it. Finish.
Okay.
Fastest thinker first. So the larger audience, I'll just explain what is bidding. So because Adarsh and we had a very elongated discussion, so we straight away jumped to this. So for student exchange program, guys, how do you apply for it? Okay. It is not dependent on your CGPA, or it is not dependent on your GMAT GRE score, or it is not dependent on oh, you're not choosing marketing as a specialization, then why do you want to go to marketing in Kellogg's, right? It totally depends on bidding. Each student, when you join the PGP cohort, you are given, the current students are given 4,500 points. Maybe next year it changes. Next year it might increase. Don't kill me then. Current 4,500 points. For international exchange, the maximum you can bid is 1,700 points. So let's say Kellogg comes, says, guys, we have 20 seats ready to take 20 ISB students. In your LMS portal, it will open up. You have to bid. And fastest 20 people will get an opportunity to go to Kellogg's. And if you are the 21st or whichever, if you are not shortlisted, your points don't get deducted. It's back to your kitty. So that's the bidding process. No other further evaluation, no shortlisting, no interviewing, no essay writing, nothing. It's done. It's sealed. You're shortlisted, you're going. That's it. So yeah, that's about it, Adarsh. And any additional questions for me on this one?
Yeah, so additional question is like the financial aid. So I understand ISB do have scholarship on need base, but I did for my safety purposes, I checked with the banks like SBI and Maharashtra Bank. So what did the conclusion was? So they give loans to IIMs straight away. The manager told me, if you crack IIM seat, I will come to your home to give you the loan.
Okay.
But I think ISB is not the one. So you will need some collateral base. Or something.
So Adarsh, I would recommend that on our website, we have listed our partner banks. Please refer to them once, because we have a tie-up with them. I'm not sure, because there's a different finance team who handles this. I don't know, maybe something would have gone wrong in the contract, and maybe that's the reason we've not collaborated with them, because they're not giving collateral-free loans. I'm not sure of that. I will not be the right person to comment on this, but I know we have close to 20 other banks we have collaboration with, 17 or 18 maybe. The entire list is there on the website, and the process is fairly simple. You could also sort of attend our upcoming session on Wednesday, and the exact theme is financial aid, ease of financing your MBA at ISB. So we have 4 students who will talk about the entire loan process, the entire scholarship process. So that is also another opportunity. You can interact with them. None of our students or alums have ever faced an issue with this, so they can also guide you better. But also refer the list which is there on our website, please. They are our contracted vendors. They are our partnered channel partners for finance.
Yeah, sure. Just last one point adding. It's like I might be comparing oranges with apples, but it's like ISB comparison with the Ivy Leagues of the world. So usually everyone says yes for ISB, but when I say, okay, I can afford a Wharton or a Harvard MBA, then they shift their focus to that. Then you should go for it. So what is your overall point of view, or what would you like to add on that?
Oh, see, the names that you've taken, they are mecca of management, right? I am absolutely nobody to sort of comment on that. Ultimately, if financially you're able to manage doing an MBA in that college, in that country, please go for it. They're all huge brands. Ultimately, you're there for knowledge, right? So a lot of decision is also residing on your financial decisions, on your personal commitments. Sometimes people have families, sometimes people have ailing parents. They cannot leave the country. Sometimes people have their own startups or want to start something here in India. Right, so they're very, very clear about their why MBA in India. But if you're okay doing MBA in any of the country, life has been kind on you and you have the absolute wherewithal to pick up any college of your choice, please, sure. I think to each his own. They are all huge brands. I have huge respect for all of them. So I don't even think I should be commenting on this question at all.
Yeah, thank you, Richa. We'll be troubling you again.
No problem, Adarsh. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, with that, we move on to next. Hi, Ameya. Please, over to you for your question. Good evening.
Hi. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. The first is, regarding career gaps in my resume.
Sure.
So if I say, so I'm guessing there would probably be two kinds, hopefully not the second for the first one for people where they didn't really get an opportunity to work. But for example, in my case, if I have willingly taken a career gap, and if I work for 3.5 years at a Big Four, and then I wanted a career gap because it just got too exhausting, and for a couple of months for medical reasons, after that for traveling and doing other things which are not related to my past work experience and also not what I want to do in the future, but something that made me happy and was also productive. It wasn't just me sitting at home. So how is that looked at? Do I have to defend myself? Do I have to write a separate essay, which other colleges do also require?
Great. And that's why ISB is different. Because if you would have looked at the application portal, absolutely no explanation required in the application form. And coming to the interviewing process, so we AdCom members or alums who are interviewing you, we are trained professionals. We have undergone workshops. They undergo workshop before each of the interviews. What we call something as strength-based evaluation at ISB. So any gap in your education or your employment, we do not question candidates. We don't even question candidates on those gaps. We are not supposed to be questioning the candidates on these because it was a life decision that you've taken. It was possibly a decision that was required at that time of your life, and we respect that. And that's an untouched space for you. Hence, also, there'll be no negative marking on this.
All right, thank you so much for that. That's a very progressive take on it. And the second question I have is regarding international placements. So you said that currently you do have around probably say 21, 29, I forgot the stats, alumni who are working outside India. Correct. However, how many of them went outside, say percentage-wise via direct placements, and what countries primarily come for? Do we get an opportunity to go to if we get into ISB? Is it just like say UAE, Singapore, Asia, or is it like all across the world? And again, how many companies or how many positions approximately?
Great. So the numbers have significantly gone down during the pandemic and after the pandemic. So to say in last 3 years, earlier the percentage used to still be high to about 5 to 6%, but now the percentage is down to 2%. So last year itself, again, you'll be able to see the entire trajectory in the 5-year placement report that we've published on our website. Maybe Kaushik will post that in the chat window. So you will be able to see that entire progression. Last year, about 20 to 21 offers, international direct recruiters were there in the last cohort, this March, the batch which graduated. So it's down to about 2%. So that's about it. And yes, mostly it is from the Middle East, the Singapore, the Asia Pac, mostly the European side of stuff. US, no. And it's not that that's a reflection of the competency of the recruitment team here at ISB. It's just that the norms of US embassy have changed. So it's just gotten too difficult to hire, recruit, and the entire job ecosystem canvas, we all are aware of that, right? So the macroeconomic conditions are such that it's not a very fruitful, conducive collaboration anymore. And Canada, they have made their PR and their whole work in Canada so easy that students either directly or alums through their networking, etc., are floating into Canadian market. So these two, Canada is less, but mostly it's the European, Asian, the Asia Pac region, yes, where the maximum recruitment happens. The exact name of organizations, etc., is also in the placement report. And if it's of interest to you, I would thoroughly recommend that please do refer to that. We have the last 5 years report on our website.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. And one last thing, sorry, I just remembered this, which is, say if I want to get done with my application process this year, but if I'm sure that I want to defer it to next year and be sure that I have an admission, is that a good enough thing to a path to take, or would you not recommend it? And would it be frowned upon, or like how would ISB look at it?
No, not frowned upon. So it's just fine. You can take your admission this year. You can seal the deal this year, but only sign up for it next year. Maybe you can defer it by a year. You can deferral process is different. So you'll have to take that route in the application form. When the offer letter is released to you, there are 2-3 options: accept, decline, withdraw, defer, etc. So just click the defer and it will take you through the entire process. Everything is online, automated.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you, Amir. And we move on to next, and we have Himanshu. Hi, good evening. Please go ahead with your question. I've unmuted you.
Yeah, hi, Richa.
Hi.
Thank you so much for that wonderful seminar. Uh, just wanted to have two major particular questions.
Sure.
So first one is basically that you said the need-based scholarships that the ISB provide. So in that it was mentioned that the family, parents, or the spouse should have a income of about 18 lakhs a year or less than that. So does that include the one which was the one person was earning
Yes.
before ISB?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, because in during the ISB course, that person will not be, earning anything and would have a
Correct.
liability as well in the next time.
Correct. Absolutely.
Like if I be very honest, like my parents are retired and do not have any pension and everything, and I'm a single child as well. So does
So
that
in your case, it's your pre-ISB salary which should be considered.
Okay, in that case, my pre-ISB salary would be considered.
Yes.
Got it. And second point was like it on the terms of when you say letter of recommendation that you require one letter of recommendation. So if someone has more people that they have worked with and they have done a lot of work with them, if there could be some few prominent people and there could be some good managers that they have rapport with and they want to submit a recommendation apart from that one. So is that possible or like
Not
only one?
Only
Okay.
one.
Only
The
one
system
is
will not allow you. We don't, everything is online, everything is automated. So there is only one placeholder for one email ID.
Got it. And in terms of profile, when we say that we have a very diversified profiles at ISB.
Yeah.
So just wanted to understand like what kind, like I am a gym, like a normal, not from a very major college. I have like 3 years of experience, but have been into startups and everything. So does that profile is something that ISB looks after, or it would depend on my essay, like how I portray my story about it and everything?
So absolutely. You just talked about 2 startups, right? So great. Please talk about it. Please brag about it. Please, I mean, you will be able to, one, your time management, right?
Mhm.
Fantastic. You're managing 2 white elephants together. It's not easy to be becoming an entrepreneur. We all accept that, right? So that's your story. Build on it. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, somebody could be from a working professional, maybe some of our friends who joined us today who are not startup entrepreneurs, they're working professionals. You will have to identify your strengths and then spin a story around it. Guys, put simply, it's about storytelling. All of us are very next door human beings who've had humble beginnings, humble starts, done small things, build it brick by brick, but it's all about storytelling ultimately, right? So you have to pick up those some strengths and spin the entire story and build your own case for diversity, that give it to me because I bring A, B, C, D to the table. So that's what you have to do.
Got it. And in the terms of scholarships, we have merit-based and there was one other scholarship type that we have. So merit-based is actually going to be based on my profile or like my CGPAs and everything that I had.
So merit-based is summation of all the 5-6 parameters that I talked about, right? The essay score, LOR, academic history, career progression, all there are certain allocated. It's a summation of everything put together. We have a list, right? So let's see, there is 100 and first X are merit listers. They get merit scholarship. So that's how it's calculated. It's not just one individual parameter. It's an overall summation of the scores. The total entire application quality score.
Got it. That's all. These are my questions, Majid. Thank you so much. Thank
All
you.
the best. All the best. No worries. Thank you so much. Very quickly, we move on to Malika. Hello. Good evening. Please go ahead.
Hi, Richa. Thank you for taking this seminar. I have 2 questions. My first question is there any difference in probability of getting through between round 2 and round 3? Because of course there's a difference because some of the majority of the seats get filled in round 3 and then there are only say 20-30 seats left in round 3. But I'm saying the quality of application, would you be reserving the same probability of getting the same candidate in round 2 versus round 3?
Sure, I got your question. Sure. Which is the second one?
And the second one is, so I come from an investment management background and I have had discussions with a lot of alumni, my close friends who have graduated from ISB, and I have gone through their website, seen the kind of companies, the background of the companies, whether it's product management or consulting that come. And I want post-MBA plans include taking investment management, investment fund plans, taking that idea forward. And I don't see a lot of funds coming to ISB for recruitment. So I just wanted to know I just want to know, is there anything that I am missing, or is there anything that I am missing, any piece of information? Okay, are there any sort of funds that come to ISB for campus placements? Do we have anything, if anything in the
Space
area of investment?
Okay,
Correct.
so I'll take the first question and then I'll come to the second one. So Malika, you need to understand that not just ISB, but any other college, the round 1 and round 2 are the most critical, most voluminous, maximum number of applications are received, maximum number of scholarships are given. 80 to 85% of the entire cohort is filled by round 2. Okay. R3, yes. Why R3 becomes difficult is not because the process internally at ISB changes, but it's because less number of seats are there. That's what makes it competitive. Okay. So let's say if we already have 10 engineers who have been given the offer letter, who've already signed up, are already confirmed seats, students to the program, then automatically if you have 10 other engineers coming in round 3, then the intake will go less. I'm just randomly saying engineers, please don't mind me. I don't know, don't kill me for that. It could be entrepreneur, it could be a doctor, it could be a lawyer. I'm just randomly saying that that's what makes it difficult, guys. But otherwise, process is the same. Application process is same, interview process is same. Internally, we don't make any changes. It's just that the seats are limited. Hence, it's competitive. Okay, so that understanding that is very important. R1, R2, R3. Now, coming to your second question, whether investment banking organizations come for placements or not, yes, they do come, right? But you have to keep in mind that which positions are they coming for. You are signing for a business management program. This is a postgraduate program in business. So they are coming to hire you for managerial roles, for leadership roles, strategy roles, right? But however, if you want to do technical stuff, if you want to be into portfolio management, if you want to be, managing the funds, mutual funds, etc., then maybe a CFA program is better suited for you, right? But if you're very clear that you want to move into the managerial side, as long as it is to do with the business side of things and not the technical side of things, MBA will take care of that. You let the placement team know. If in the placement report, if you do not see any organization name, they have also given you an indicative list. Please understand that our competitors are also keeping an eye on our website, so we can't let out all the information there. It's only indicative numbers, indicative list of organization, indicative things, so that you have the confidence in us, right? So please let the placement team know that these are the 2-3 organizations I'm gunning for. This is the kind of profile that I'm looking at. They will get it for you. Because that's what the placement team claims, that there are a set of 30 plus professionals who work not just to get you a placement, but who aim to get you your dream job in your dream organization. From the word go, the day you are recruited, the day you are on the campus as a student, the very next day, the very next week, they start working with you, trying to understand your profile first. Who is Richa, let's say, her strengths, her weaknesses, and what she was doing, what were her current challenges. So your career essay will play a very important role here because you've done that homework that time. And then you will have the conversation that, I want to move and do this. This is my transition. This is what I want to do next, etc. They'll get it for you. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. But otherwise, there's no challenge. There has been no challenge. Every year, we have students who've completed their CFA and come to ISB program and moved into leadership, strategy, or management roles at various investment banking organizations, right? So I hope that answered, and I'm sorry that name has gone from my screen again, so I'm unable to unmute you, but I only see Tarun next, so I'm unmuting you. Tarun, go ahead. Good evening.
Hi, Richa. Thanks for the wonderful session. I just wanted to ask when the R1 results will be out.
18th of November.
Okay, so that will be once in the same day for everyone, the admit, the reject, and everything.
Yeah, everything. Offered, waitlist, reject, everything.
Okay. Thanks. That was my question. Thank you.
Okay, all the best to you, Tarun.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, Bhargav. Please go ahead with your question. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, actually, I'm driving right now. I'm returning from office, so there might be a little bit of background noise.
No,
I'm
not a
really sorry.
problem. But thank you so much that, despite you driving and you're back going on your way home and you're spending time with us. So thank you so much for that, at least. Yeah.
I have actually 2 questions. The first question is, like, let's say there's a person who has been working for 2.5 years, and then for a certain reason he has to leave the job and join the family business, which is a small retail family business.
Okay.
And so is that, I mean, looked down upon, or is that affect the profile if the person is working 1.5 year for in that
Not at all.
family?
Absolutely fine. It's any experience, whether it be family business or your own startup or in a corporate, mid, senior, large, whatever, absolutely valid work experience and equal weightage is given to it. So not at all, no negative points there.
Okay. And the second question is, basically in today's time, mostly the government jobs are contractual basis, right? So like I've been working in a contractual government job. It's a full-time job, and it has got a pay slip as well. So is this counted as an experience?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my question.
If it was after graduation, it's absolutely valid work experience.
Okay, and gaps are not much of a problem, right? Like if someone has taken a 2-year gap for a preparation
Not a
UPSC or
problem.
something.
Not a problem. Nobody will question you on that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All the best. And before we move on to the next question, how much time do I have, team? Can we take more questions?
Oh, absolutely. You can go ahead and take as many as you'd like, because it depends on the time that you have as well. So that is another thing.
Oh, no, not a problem. Not a problem. I'm just comfortable. Sure. Thank you, Mr. Sandeep.
Right.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
right. Go ahead, please.
All right, great. And then with that, we move on to Hi Kunal. Unmuting you. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Richa. Good evening.
Good evening.
So I have 2 questions. So the first one is, as CAs, our application form consists more of analytical skills rather than leadership skills. And since ISB looks for candidates having leadership skills, and with CAs working at the big fours or reputed firms don't get the opportunity to do so. So how are CAs evaluated on that basis?
So ISB is looking at future leadership potential. You may not be at a leadership position right now. You may not be handling teams. You may not be a manager. It's okay. But the innate Kunal, the softer skills of Kunal won't change much, right? If tomorrow I have to throw Kunal at adversities of corporate life, whether he'll show the resilience, whether he'll not fall down and he'll start running again, that will not change. So we're just looking for potential leadership skill sets. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. And the second,
every year, believe you me, we have 50 plus CAs on the campus.
Oh, okay.
Right now. Yeah. Every year we have equal number of CAs. Yeah.
Okay. And the second question is that what is the average GMAT score that matter? Because I have my GMAT exam on 30th November. So guidance on this will help me a lot.
Oh God, this is the most difficult question. That one right score, GMAT score, GRE score. So Kunal, I seriously am telling you, there is no one right answer to this, because there are other 4 parameters which are so important. So even if, let's say, you have a 680 score, right? But you are able to stitch in a story, do a great, fabulous work with your essay, and, compel me to say, oh, this is fab, bring him to the table. You want to talk to him. So your essay could be a game changer. In the employment tab, if you're talking about, if you're in the audit team and if you've talked about some frauds and if you talked about how you or you've saved a lot of money for the company. Now, these are all interesting conversational points. So this also brings in a lot of interest in us when we're reading the forms, etc. So you can play along with all the other elements. There is no one right score that I can tell you, Kunal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And my screen says iPhone. I'm sorry, I'm unmuting you, but please introduce yourself. Good evening.
Hi, Richa. Good evening. Thank you for this insight for ISB. Yeah.
And can you please help me with your name?
This is Girija Sahu.
Girija. Can I rename you, please?
Sorry.
Yeah. I've just renamed you. It just helps me to keep it interactive and personalize the conversation. Please go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do have 2 questions. So basically, I'm a banking professional, more than 10 years of work experience. And also I belong to the music industry also, right? So my question is higher number of workers can have the adverse impact in applications, or is it okay for ISP application and things?
Absolutely okay. Absolutely okay. You look at it as diversity. You are niche profile. You are diversity candidate.
Okay, because I already have in the senior most positions in banking industry, and 11 year work experience in various banking products and like service and audit and credit, right?
Sure.
So is it okay for me, right, to apply for this with this experience, right? Not an issue at all, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Valid work experience and relevant work experience as well.
Yeah, thank you. That's the question. Thank you so much.
Very quickly, we'll now move to Prateek. Hello, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi, am I audible?
Loud and clear. Hi, good evening.
Yeah. My question just covered that. I am also having 12 plus experience.
Okay.
So I hope there will be no concern. But one more thing that apart from ISB, I am a little bit confused with I am ABC also, because for working professionals, I am ABC also good option. So how I could give priority to ISB over all these three ABs, I am ABC. So can you please guide me in that regard?
See, if you are gunning for the 1 year program, Prateek, we are the pioneers, right? We are the ones who launched the 1 year program in the country, and others have just taken inspiration, so to say, right? So, and look at the batch size. You have 900 other students you will be sharing that 1 year with. So look at the kind of tremendous learning opportunity that it brings to you. Vis-a-vis compare the class size of A, which is about 120, B, which is about 75. Right? So keep all of those pointers also in mind, Pradeep.
Okay, and apart from that, anything special in ISB?
Yes, ISB has a lot of global exposure. Because we are an independent school, we have the liberty to partner with global schools. We have the liberty to invite as many global and international faculty. So because the agenda was to offer the best global management program in the country. So if you want to understand, so rather than reading from somebody's book, better to learn somebody who's written that book, right? And we exactly have all of those stalwarts, those industry specialists, all those great faculty members who possibly write the case studies. They are coming to you in the classroom and teaching you. And of course, they have the global exposure also. So for global exposure, 1 year working professionals, ISB is hands down the most preferred school in the country.
Okay, ma'am. Because this, I'm anticipating that this question may come in further interview process also. That's why
nobody is going to ask you, because we have due respect to all the other schools, and nobody is going to ask you why ISB, why not I am A or B. They might want to know why MBA. Why do you want to do an MBA? How MBA will help you, right? But they want to understand Prateek. They don't want to understand why Prateek wants to do ISB. They want to understand Prateek. We all want to understand your challenges. What are you facing and how we can help you? So the focus is only going to be that. You ask yourself that, are you ready for an MBA now? And if you, believe you me, if you've answered that, all the other things will fall in place. Most important question is identifying that now is the right time to do the MBA. And that need can be different for different people at different stages of their career. Somebody could have realized that after 20 years, somebody's realized it immediately after graduation, after 2 years. So the need could be different for each individual, but that need is must. That your realization that I want to do an MBA program, that is the right time for you to do an MBA program. And that is all that we are interested in.
Okay, thank you for the detailed answer. And one more query. That currently I'm working in automotive sector and I am having product or project manager profile. So same
audit. Did you say audit?
Product and project.
Okay, project and product. Okay, sure.
So same profile can be, detailed in essay. Like I want to build my career in that, but not in industry, but in other industries.
You want to change your industry. Absolutely.
The profile should be like that, only product or project manager.
Absolutely. Perfect. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, great. Thank you, Prateek. All the best. With that, we move on to next question. Hi, Rutuj. Good evening. And unmuting you.
Yeah. Hi, Richa. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening.
So, Richa, my first question is like considering a scenario where I take my GMAT before 4th of December, but I haven't started with my R2 application. So, can I use my same score in my R3?
Yes, yes, absolutely. When are you writing your exam, Rutuj?
Actually, I'm planning. I haven't booked a slot actually right now. So,
okay. And since how long have you been preparing?
1.5 months.
Oh, you're ready. Please go ahead and book a slot. I will not recommend R3 for you then. Seriously. When you are, I think even all the studies say, right, 100 to 125 hours, which is essentially 45 to 60 days. So I think you just need to now give yourself that one deadline that on this date, I'm writing my exam. So my first recommendation or advice to you that Rituj, because you have been preparing for that long, please gun for R2. Otherwise, R3 is definitely another option for you.
Okay, okay. So, Richa, my second question is, you tentatively mentioned that the date for R3 will be by Jan mid, and considering that I'll be completing my 2 years of experience by Jan end 2023. So, will that affect anything?
Nothing at all. That is applicable even if you apply in R2, because the work experience will be calculated as on 20th of April. So when you join the program, or even let's say you apply today, okay, so rather for the 4th of December deadline, automatically the system will calculate your work experience as 2+ years only.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. And very quickly, we move on to our next question. And this is from Stuti. Hi, Stuti, unmuting you. Please go ahead.
Hi, Richa. Hi, Sandeep. So firstly, thank you so much for taking your time out on a Sunday and, answering all our students' questions.
Thank you so much for bearing with us. And not just you, all the other raise of hands, guys, we will come to you one by one. So thank you for patience and, hanging in there with us. Thank you.
Yes. So I particularly had two questions.
Sure.
One being, I'm focused to apply to only ISB, but for the 2024 or 2024 to 2025 cohort. So that'll be next year, and I've already started prepping for the same.
Okay.
My particular question for this was like, do a lot of things change in a year's time itself, like in terms of your application process or anything particular that we should be aware about?
So the topic of the essay might change, but the process remains the same.
Got it. Got it. Another one being, I really appreciate the fact that how you mentioned that at ISB, you all are not just looking for, it's diverse in terms of not just engineers, but you all are open to it, people who are into the music field and, sports people and even bloggers now. Yes. So particularly on that note, I actually have studied finance, but I'm really passionate about fashion. So currently working in the Vogue magazine for the creative direction part, but I plan to quit this year, and I also have my startup in sustainability towards fashion. So in that 1 year's time, I will be building the startup, and I won't be having anyone to give me a particular, LOR who will be working closely with me other than interns, because it'll be like a 1 year a time period. I won't be having any particular mentors, how, in a corporate world you have. So just wanted a little heads up on that, so I can start thinking about it, for the recommendation, as you mentioned, that it's a really important aspect of the application.
Yes, it is a mandatory element in your application form. So Stuti, in that 1 year, will you not have any client or any other partner, nobody who's at the same podium as you are, or maybe somebody senior, maybe a VC, somebody?
Okay, and it's not necessary that they worked with you like throughout the year. It could be like, just parts, how you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. Could be your client, could be your customer, could be anybody who's worked with you for maybe even a month.
Got it.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
And another question on this again was like, what is like the average, especially talking about the fashion field, in terms of entrepreneurs in the fashion industry, do you all, do you all have speakers who come in to talk about fashion business, business in the fashion industry, or in terms of people who join in the course?
Yeah, in fact, one of our current students, she has her own label and she's actually they are also about to launch another SIG. A formal announcement has not happened, so I'll not announce the name, but it actually focuses on fashion.
Okay.
Okay, so we have, of course, a lot of people, rather every year we have a bunch of students who come from the similar industries. So yes, you'll be able to relate to a lot.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Richa. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we move on to Nikhil. Hello, good evening. And unmuting you. Please go ahead with your question.
Yes. Hi, Richa. So I have a few questions. So starting on with the first one. So actually, I have my own startup. So for that, do I need to do I need to verify my document or something for that? Like if I submit that
Nothing.
in
You
my
just need your
application.
last ITR.
Okay. And so my next question is, so talking about the GMAT score.
Mhm.
So during the interviews, is that required? Like is there any criteria for the GMAT scores?
Like I said, we do not have access to your scores, and the alums will also not know your score. They can't even question you on your scores.
Okay, so no, actually, I'm talking about the interviews while we'll be sitting at the interviews. So at that time, will GMAT play a role in that at that time?
No, not at all.
Okay. My next question is, so and for the scholarships, is the GMAT is the only decider, or any other factors are considered?
No. So for scholarships, there are 3 different criterias, right? One is diversity. It has nothing to do with score. Second is need, which has nothing to do with score. The third is merit, where score is a part, but I talked about so many pointers, right? So many parameters, SA, LOR, there is overall application score. So just one merit scholarship where it has a partial weightage.
Okay. One more thing. So actually, I did my BTech, and apart from running my startup as well, so I worked in finance industry as well, in a corporate. So I think it is getting very difficult for me to connect the dots. So do you really think that I have to mention all of this in my application that I've did from how did I make the transition?
You have to prioritize. You don't have to mention everything, just because it's a limited space of 400 words. So prioritize what you want to write. And that's that's where you will need a peer review. They will be able to help you. You can possibly draft it on a Word document and then give it to somebody who knows you and somebody who can spend that time for you. And they will give you that perspective that, okay, do away with this. It's not creating impact. It's just wasting the real estate. Maybe focus on these 1 or 2 pointers. So prioritize.
Okay, so I've worked mostly on my startup only, so I should focus more on that and leaving the rest, the finance and other industry.
Yeah, that you can mention the employment tab so that your overall work experience is not impacted. But in your essay, just focus on the key things, impactful things, prioritize in the essay part.
Okay, and will that be affected? I came from the BTech background and then startup and then finance. So will that impact?
No.
So many transitions.
Believe you me, a lot of students have such transition. They've done varied things, so not a problem.
Okay, that answers my question. Yeah.
You have to spin a story around it that's your diversity. Right. You were able to learn and adapt and try out different things.
Right. So you rather see it as a positive side of it, that I'm able to cope up with more of it.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's the whole agenda of this process. Strength-based evaluation.
Okay. Got your point. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, Vidhan. Good evening. Over to you. You are next in the queue.
Hey, hi. Actually, I just have a question. I'll just put it in form of a scenario. So I'm looking my required work-ex will complete next year. I'm looking for the 2024 cohort. So what I was thinking was applying for round 3. Now, in one of the questions you mentioned how round 3 applications are based on how much of the cohort has been already been filled and what's the existing profiles of the other people who have been in the batch, and then based on that. So I was looking for an EEO in the round 3 this year, and then maybe again applying for round 1 next year. So will that matter as for an overall application? Because
for EEO candidates, any which ways, you're a deferred candidate. You're any which ways not joining this year's cohort. So for EEO or YLP candidates, rounds will not pay so much of impact
Got it.
because you're not immediately funneling down in my this year's cohort.
All right. And that also terms like, and that's the same in form of, in terms of scholarships as well, or?
Absolutely. Scholarships will only open for you in the year you are joining.
Got it. All right. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it. That's all right. Thanks a lot.
Sure. Thank you, Vedant. Thank you so much.
All right, just a second. I'm really sorry. So just wanted to know, do you have duplicate questions, anyone, or would you have very original? Because otherwise you could ask over email also. Kaushik has just pasted in the chat window. These are the LinkedIn profiles of Richa and Kaushik, and the email IDs as well given. So in case there are some original questions, something that has not been asked so far, please go ahead. If you feel that your question has been covered, in that case, you can directly talk to them later on through LinkedIn or through the ISB email ID. So just make sure that the questions have already not been asked and answered. So just take care. All right, go ahead. Richa, please take your next question.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So we go ahead with Manan. Hi, Manan. Please go ahead with your question.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah. So my question is basically specific to the YLP program that the ISB offers. So I've been researching about YLP program, and I see that in the last two application years, there had been in the last year there had been one round 1 and round 2, but in the application process of 2021 and 2022, there was only one round for YLP.
Yes.
So is it the case every year, like, or is this
So
year?
going forward, we'll have 2 rounds. Historically, we've always had 1 round, but based on the request and we wanted to adapt to the market pulse, we have started now offering 2, and it will remain.
Okay, and so the dates which have been mentioned in the application process of 2022 and 2023, would that remain the same in the coming years? Like the month, tentative dates.
Tentatively, yes. Round 1 will maybe be always in the month of October, and the final round has always been March end.
Okay, fine. And one more thing I had to ask you, like, if I've applied for the YLP program, so what can be the maximum amount of years I can defer?
Only once. And not just for YLP, anybody. You can only defer it max by 1 year.
Okay, so
In
if I have
addition to your already privileged deferral, so you are already a privileged candidate who will get a 2-year deferral, let's say, because you are in final. If you're pre-final, then maybe 2.5 years or whatever. So on top of your deferral admission, you can take 1 more year, and that's it.
Okay. So, and as you mentioned that the GMAT score is not visible to you all at the time of reviewing of application.
Yeah.
So then what would be the importance of the GMAT score that we'll be submitting?
So that's an algorithm. The engine takes care of it.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
The engine, the backend engine, the application engine will automatically take care of the element, your academics and your GMAT.
Okay. And the last question is regarding the profile. So supposedly in a scenario, like I've done Toastmasters and ISAC, I've been a part of both the student organization.
Okay.
But the thing is that I've been a part of the clubs, but how would that make me stand out from others? Like suppose others can also be a part of the clubs. So what would the differentiating factor?
Your contribution. Participation and contribution will be the deciding factor.
Okay, so and what would you recommend? What other aspects do you think that should be included in the profile so as to shine in the eyes?
Honesty. We just know. We've read so many applications, we've read so many essays. We just know if it is a Google lifted templated answer or if it is straight coming out of the heart. So that stands out because each story is unique. Each story is different. I cannot equate 3 to 4 applications and say, oh, they come from the same bucket. But honesty is something which is very, very important. Ethics are very important. You have to be very, very high on that. No plagiarism. So just ensure that we are not looking at English, like I'm saying again. We are not looking at badminton players, cricket players, or some hi-fi actor, actresses. We're looking at future leadership, right? So Ethics is again one part of leadership. Leadership is not designation, we all agree, right? These are tenets of an individual. So just be honest enough with your application, put in that effort, that your effort will show in the application, believe you me.
Okay, and regarding the LORs, so for the YLP applicants, suppose if they are a part of any club, and so can they get an LOR from the president of that club or the co-workers?
So let not a student write that LOR for you, because how mature is that individual to talk about your leadership skills, right? So if a faculty is a chair of that particular club or that initiative, reach out to him or her, but try and avoid colleagues, because they will not be able to bring in that maturity in the LOR.
All right. That's all. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. All right, we very quickly move on. So there's a very interesting question in the chat window. Let me just take that. So a question is about whether an individual can apply, because we've not covered that, whether an individual can apply in both R2 and R3. The answer is no. You can only apply once in one academic year. You can apply again next year in whichever round, but in one academic year, you can only apply once. So if you're applying in R2, you cannot apply again in R3. You can apply again only next year. So that was an important question, so I thought I'll just pick it up. With that, we move on to Ashish. Hi, Ashish, please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, Richa.
Good evening.
I had a question that I have been working in Merchant Navy for the past 8 years.
Sure.
So the nature of my job has been like 6 months on and then maybe sometimes 4 months off or 6 months off. So how do I calculate my work experience, number one?
Only for Merchant Navy, it's an exception that your entire investment of time is considered as valid, whether you're on shore or not.
Okay. And that doesn't give me like that. How does that separate me from the normal crowd? Like someone has an 8-year experience doing every month in and out, and I have been having these
Your challenges and your uniqueness will be very different. Believe you me, as it is, because you're representing Merchant Navy, you are in a separate diversity pool altogether.
Yeah.
Right. So your evaluation will be only with those folks only. We will not compare it with somebody who's been working 12 months a year.
Okay.
Because the kind of challenges you bring on to the table, right? So when you're at sea, you're working round the clock and nobody's doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. That was my question. Thank you.
Great. Sure. All the best, Anish.
Thank you.
Thank you. And very quickly, moving on to Vishwanath. Hello, good evening. Please go ahead with your question. Can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me, Richa?
Yeah, I can now hear you. Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Thanks a lot, Richa. Thanks a lot, Sandeep sir, for the session. Richa, I truly believe that today so many of the words that came out of your mouth or from the session are truly for me. I just want to ask a question which is quite unique to me.
Sure.
That I bring in a very diverse profile, Richa. That is, I'm already a postgraduate student.
Okay.
I am a research professional. I have been associated with the civil service preparation. I am a teacher. I have been into a lot of projects.
Sure.
But I think the biggest lacuna in my profile is actually I don't have a 2-year professional work experience. Even though I have been into a lot of things, as I said, I already worked on patented projects. I am a teacher who trained thousands of people.
Yeah.
I have worked on projects. But the only lacuna, according to whatever details that you have shown me till now, is that I lack actually a 2-year work experience.
So if I may just very quickly answer that absolutely no, you have valid work experience, because you're a freelancer. So let's say if you are teaching and not associated with a school or as such, but you're a freelancer, right? You've been paid for your services. You can show income proof for that work, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Bingo. It is a valid work experience. So when I say valid work experience, the right word is not professional work experience. The right word is valid work experience, which is any work experience after your graduation for the calculation. Even if you've done a stint, it's valid, but it's work time. We want full-time work experience, valid full-time work experience. It could be after graduation. You could be a freelancer. You could be doing projects on and off, but you are a freelancer, you're an entrepreneur. So absolutely, it's a valid work experience. It's not a lacuna at all.
So actually, it's that almost 1 year of a full-term work experience I do have. But for the criteria that you're telling of 2 years or more than that, actually, I have 3 years of part-time work experience and 1 year of full-time work experience, according to your April deadline, whatever I can see that.
So the 3-year part-time was alongside your bachelor's?
No, post my bachelor's.
So then it's full-time. Why is it part-time?
Okay, see, that is where I think the honesty aspect of comes into it. During that time, I was actually associated with my civil service preparation. I have given the interview for that also.
Okay.
So I just don't want to repackage it and tell that I have a full-time work experience. I just want to be honest and ask you this question, since you are from the institute. I want an authenticated
You have to
information.
understand the definition of full-time. Then maybe you'll be at peace with yourself, because that's important, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
That you have to be at peace with yourself. And that's why the ethics come into the picture. When we say full-time, I don't mean Monday to Sunday, Monday to Saturday, or Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
When I say full-time, the definition is that it should be after the graduation. It should not be in conflict with your graduation.
Yes.
It should be a paid activity. It
Yes,
cannot be a freelancing or something that you've just done off the cuff, run off the mill sort of.
Yeah, I know it.
It is a paid activity. You received some sort of remuneration for the product or the services that you've delivered to your client. And third, it cannot be a volunteering service that I volunteered in an NGO. I volunteered to feed dogs on the street. Volunteering jobs are also not full-time. So that's the definition, ISB definition of full-time. And I think you check the box in all three.
Yeah, okay, fine. So that means so for my work experience, I was talking about, what do you need? You need a work experience letter or something else like that. What else what do you need for
I
that?
just need your last ITR filed or your last 3 months bank statement.
Okay, fine. That will do.
I don't need your GST, no registration number, nothing.
No, fine.
I hope that helps you, because it's important. Ultimately, we have to face ourselves every day before we go to sleep. So I hope that helps.
No, that helps a lot, because I have been right on so many fronts, and sometimes a very simple question tends to perturb us. So that was a very simple question I had.
Totally understand.
With respect to the LOR, you said with one of the previous candidates that try not to get it from your professor. But I just want to put my unique case that I actually worked on a lot of projects in IIT Delhi.
Yeah.
So, and most of the time, my project officer
In
is
your
actually
case, it will be an exemption because you're in the education industry.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you're in education industry, so in your case, it could be an exception. So this was only for those who are working in corporates, but want to go back to academia. In that case, no, because there is a difference between a student and a working professional. But you worked with this professor, the faculty, in a professional canvas, in a professional ecosystem. So for you, the dynamics change.
Okay, then that's the case. Thanks a lot. I'll be applying for round 2, writing my GMAT on 15th.
All the best for your GMAT, for your submission on 4th of December. And you have my coordinates in the window. Please feel free to ping me on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to take additional questions that you may have.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Vishnu. Thank you so much. And we very quickly move on to our next question. Hi, Venkat. Venkata, it just shows that.
Hi, Richa.
Hi.
My question might be a little different from others, but I have seen that using the GMAT score when we have to apply to foreign universities, they are considering extracurricular activities and community service as a very big factors when they're considering for their universities.
Right.
Aren't these two as big factors?
They are not our components. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to know. And one more thing is that in my specific case, I would like to apply after 2 years. I graduated 2 months ago.
Okay.
So, but my I have done an integrated master's course, a 5-year course. So I have both my bachelor's and master's in computer science. And
Sure.
m- my work experience by the time I join would be 2 years.
Okay.
So is there any extra, extra points for me being a
Integrated?
postgraduate?
No.
Yeah.
No
Also,
extra points. So
I mean,
basically, basic hygiene check is you should have done a graduation because this is a post-graduation program. Irrespective whether you've already done a master's or you've done specifically an MBA, or we have PhD holders who are in the program. We have an ISRO scientist, so he's done 2 PhDs. So of course, he brings in the diversity, but on the diversity quotient, he definitely scores, but no additional points for master's or PhD.
okay, it's not about the degree I was specifically talking about. During our integrated course, the final year was 6 months of project under a professor and 6 months of internship with a company.
Okay.
So it is not a part-time job per se, because the 6 months internship is a part of the college curriculum. So and paid. So will it be considered as proper
No,
work experience?
it will not pay. It will not pay. Because the moment, look at it this way, then what you will have to do is in the application, you will only have to talk about 3 years of graduation as full-time, because you will not be allowed to enter 2 full-time activities in the portal, period. So if you want to show the 6 months of internship, you will have to not showcase your 2 years of masters. You will have to just end your education with X plus X plus 3, X and X plus 3. So that's where you'll have to end your education, which is as a bachelor's. Only then the system will accept the 6 months of internship as full-time work experience. But I don't think that really sort of makes any difference, because any which ways you're only applying after 2 months. 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's okay. Doesn't make much difference. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sure. Lovely. Thank you. And we move on to our next question. And this one's from Anirudh. Hi, Anirudh. Good evening.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Ma'am, I have a few questions. The first one is regarding the LOR and the whole conversation around an ISB alumni. So, ma'am, I have this person in my life who is an ISB alumni.
Okay.
And he's kind of the guy who told me about ISB and that it's a nice place to be, and
okay,
addressed my notions about the 1-year course and it being a private college compared to IIMs. So he's a kind of guy who I closely look up to, and he knows me on a very personal level and is an ISB alumni. But I haven't worked with him in a professional capacity. Is that somebody you would recommend for an LOR?
No. Don't get swayed away that he's an ISB alum, so we'll get you extra brownie points. No. He's your mentor. He's your mentor, right?
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
But not somebody who's worked with you in professional capacities. So, no.
Okay. And ma'am, my second question is, there's this whole debate about work experience. And so just for context, I'm a 3rd-year engineering student.
Okay.
And that's another question, that being a 3rd-year engineering student, what would be the right time to apply? And I'm guessing after I get my 2 years of work experience.
So you can, for you, sky is the limit. You can try it out for YLP because you're in 3rd year, you're absolutely eligible to apply for YLP. If things go south, if your profile, let's say, is not shortlisted in the YLP, then you know that there are no spikes in your profile, or the audience or the AdCom team did not find the entire proposition meeting. Then you can start working on the clubs and work experience, etc. Second attempt could be your EO, or you could directly apply after 2 years to the PGP direct mode. So I leave it to you. You are determined that you want to apply to ISB. So you can apply through YLP right now. If things work, fantastic, you're onboarded. If you're not shortlisted, work on the gaps. In fact, take it as an opportunity. Every failure is a learning opportunity. Take it as an opportunity that I'm going to work on my profile, ace it for next 1 year, 2 years, and submit your case again. So I leave the final decision to you.
Ma'am, so a follow-up question. For the YLP, the process is the same. So there are essays and there is So I need to write.
Almost in stage 1, there is no score required, no LOR required, only one essay about your hobbies and academic details. Fairly simple. Stage 2, which is August next year, we will need your GMAT, we will need your LOR. Then we'll shortlist you for interview, etc. Interview, 1 round of interview, and that's it. You get your offer letter.
I meant for the YLP, I have pretty decent 10th and 12th scores. But how important is the college CGPA?
It is. The weightage is slightly more in YLP as compared to PGP and EU.
Okay.
Because understand right now you have nothing other than your scores, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And of course, your extracurriculars, your club activities, etc.
Okay. And ma'am, one last thing. Considering the PGP program and the work experience conversation regarding that program. So with the context of that, I'm a 3rd-year engineering student. Can my work experience be something, beyond engineering? Can it be something,
absolutely,
if I decide to switch careers to something like a music industry or a photographer?
It's a great safety net. You can work in an NGO, you can try out different projects, you can change multiple times in 2 years. Nobody's questioning you. You're already in the thick of the game.
So it was very specific for careers, which don't have a very defined pay scale, something like an artist.
You can experiment with a lot of things, Aniruddha. No problem at all.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
But it has to be a full-time thing. You please remember that. Huh? You heard me the definition of full-time, right? It cannot be a volunteering thing. It has to be a paid service. It has to be after graduation. As long as you fit the criteria, definition of full-time, you're sorted. But feel free to pick up anything.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Great. With that, we move on to our next candidate, and this is Manish. Hi, Manish. Good evening. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, Richa. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
I'm great. Thanks for a lovely session so far. So I have 2-3 questions actually.
Sure.
The one is like I'm working in a public sector bank.
Okay.
And got experience of approximately 9 years.
Okay.
And with this experience and with the age of approximately 33 completed, does ISB give preference to young students more, like in its bucket? Because I've read in various platforms that they prefer more like after the experience of 2 years, starting from 2 years to max 23, but still they prefer more like 5-6.
I know there is so much content flowing on Google and forums, and that's exactly why we are here to nip it in the bud. See, guys, you'll hear all of these umpteen number of stories and a lot of experts sharing a lot of dates, but thoroughly recommend all of you all to hear it directly from official representatives from ISB. There is no such preference. Okay. In general, there are few. At the application level itself, very few senior people apply because of a lot of personal and professional commitment. They cannot sign up for a one year rigorous program, right? For whatever commitments that they may have. So at the application level itself, we see that it's not comparable, it's not equitable. So it's not that we are having any preference. We welcome each one of you all. And as long as your entire journey, your whole application is doing that, playing that story for you very well, I think that works. But no, there's no preference, please.
Okay. And one more thing, like working in a public sector, you must be knowing like I don't have any spike up profile, though clearing a public sector job is a big task and getting into the job is a big challenge. But after that, your profile is not a spiky one or a fancy one. I'm working somewhere in rural areas, and I don't have like big thing in my profile add-ons.
I can only tell you that you're a diversity candidate. That's diversity.
Like
how many profiles are coming from PSU background, worked in rural markets? Spin your story in that direction. It's a diversity profile. It's all here. We tend to reject ourselves first, even before ISB does to you. So I look at it as a very, very interesting diversity profile.
Which which scares me actually when I go through some forums online. There are people who are some project managers who are handling
Guys,
projects
the
various,
last
and
thing that you have to do is go and consume content on Quora or any other forum, please. I don't
yeah.
even know who's responding on behalf of ISB, because certainly we are not. No, please, humble request, have any questions, directly reach out to me or my team. We'll be happy to do another repeat session, maybe if there are additional questions, but no, it's not true at all. You put simply, I see you as a diversity candidate, which is true also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All the best.
And Richa, just to add to Manish, I mean, your answer to the Manish thing, there are quite a few people, I believe somewhere around 8 to 10 people from different PSUs, oil and gas and different. So yeah, he can definitely apply and would add to the diversity. Yeah.
Just simply when I go through any ISP profile check on any various firm, I won't name, there are people who are like McKinsey and some project IT, Tata, TCS, and then I think we stand nowhere. Like the one who working PSU, like they are nothing, zero to them. Like obviously our profile is simple. Like I'm simple banker working for the government. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
No, Manish, I think it's all
That
in
scares me.
here. The kind of challenges that you would have faced.
Yeah, that is horrible. The challenge we face. Okay, yeah.
So that is unique to you.
Yes.
That's what you bring to the table, right? So, okay. Anyways, we'll move on to Jignesh. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jignesh. Hi, over to you. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, Richa. Hi. So I'm really sorry for spoiling your Sunday evening. So
no, not at all. Please. I think we've been waiting for this session, and I'm happy to be here. I'm somebody who doesn't leave the room till the time all the show of hands don't go down. So I'm here. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I'm a PGP reapplicant. I applied last year but didn't get through. So my question is regarding what sort of improvements are you looking for in the essay sections, and work profile has remained the same. So essays and the reapplicant, the optional essay, what sort of improvements is ISB admissions team?
Very important question, Jignesh, because the way we interpret that essay is always that, oh, you know what, I've not changed organization, my profile hasn't changed. What do I write in that reapplicant essay? But also sometimes the clarity that we had last year or the year in which we applied vis-a-vis the current year in which we are applying, you would have better clarity of yourself, of what you want to do, right? Of you reflecting, of having conversations with self and working on things which possibly you received a feedback from the team, because reapplicants are eligible to get a feedback from the team. So you working on that reapplicants feedback. So that is also transformation. So just don't go by change of organization or role. Self-transformation is also transformation. So you can work on that. Again, I've lost that name on my screen, so I won't be able to unmute you, but I hope you got your answer. And we move on to Shruti. Hi, Shruti. Please go ahead with your question. Shruti, we're not able to hear you.
Hi, Richa. Am I audible?
Now we can hear you. Yes.
Hi. Thank you so much for the session. It's really informative.
Pleasure. Thank you.
So actually, the question I had has already been asked. So I'll just ask a follow-up question. It's with regard to the question being asked about round 2 and round 3, whether you can apply for both for the same, academic year. So this is more in terms of advice rather than a question. So of course, we're already in November right now. I'd be giving my GMAT on December 1st.
Okay.
So I would start my application process probably, this week.
Okay.
But of course, it would sort of be a rush process. I don't think I would, have that sort of confidence with respect to, building a good story for round 2.
For round 2, you have 3 weeks. 1 weekend is enough, Shruti.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 weekend is enough. Typically, not more than 2 to 3 days. If you don't want to tire yourself, I have so many students every year who will log in on exactly 4th of December and submit and go.
Okay, that gives me quite a bit of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. You're very much in the game. if you were not writing your exam on 1st of December, then maybe yes, you were not in the skin of the game, but you still are there. So even if you have 2 weekends, the way I look at it, so 2 weekends are more than enough. And even if you're filling in bit by bit, you'll get there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All the best for your exam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Sanya. Unmuting you. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Richa. Thank you so much for the time and staying up so late with us. And please excuse me, I have a sore throat.
No, thank you. You get well soon first. Yes, please go ahead.
So I have a follow-up question regarding the student exchange program. And like I wanted to first understand what all schools are there. Is it just the founders or the associated school, or are there any more students in the list?
There are about
Schools in the
50 colleges, Sanya. There are about 50 colleges in that list.
Okay.
So it's not just the 5 schools. I did mention, right? There are about 50 plus schools, close to 57. So more every year. 2 months back, our dean signed up another MOU with SRD. So every year new schools keep getting added. So we're close to 50, 55 schools there.
All right. And can you please explain a bit more about the bidding process? Because I could not understand the part where you said like someone can maximum bid 1700 points. So
Sure,
how
I
is
got
that
your question.
possible?
I got your question. Okay. So Sanya, I will very quickly wrap it up.
Yeah.
You have some X points. Maximum this year, 1700 points can be bidded out of 4500. Okay. You can't bid more than 1700 on one international immersion, which is your exchange program. Now it's up to you whether you want to spend 1700, 1000, 100, 1500. It's your wish. Maximum bidding will get it. And within maximum bidding, fastest students, fastest finger first will be given the opportunity. So that's the process.
All right. Okay. And another question that I had. So basically, you also talked about that there is an entrepreneurship club in ISB, and I was going through the website. So is it the same as iVenture ISB, or
They
is
are
it
incubation
something?
cells. They are incubation cells.
Okay, all right. So actually, I'm working as a research analyst in the private equity market. So that is where I actually want to foray my career as well. So that is why I just wanted to understand a bit more about entrepreneurship. So is it just like someone who is just looking to create their own startups, or would be also for someone who would be
Both.
willing to work both?
Both. Both.
All
Your
right.
wish. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we'll very quickly move to Yash. Hi, please go ahead with your question.
Hello, ma'am. Am I
Hello.
audible?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Hope you are not tired, ma'am.
No, not at all. I'm just feeling sorry that all of you all have been waiting for so long. So I'm trying to keep it short and crisp. But yes, I'm absolutely here with you guys. Not a problem. Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, how many people generally apply for ISB every year? That's my first question.
I have an answer, but I'm sorry, I won't be able to give you an answer.
Like an approximate answer?
So Yash,
Somewhere.
let me tell you this as somebody who's coming from an experience that as it is in today's session, you would see that so many people have so many doubts and they're in self-doubt. The last thing that I want to do is to fear or set in that fear or scare you. You just focus on that one seat that you need to get into. Out of the 900 seats, you are just gunning for that one seat. So just focus like Arjuna did, right? The eye of the fish.
Right, ma'am.
You just focus on that one chair, that one seat in the room. Don't worry about how many applications are coming, how many we finally shortlist for the interview. That is a data point that you don't need. With respect to quality, we are top notch. We are almost there with respect to Harvard standards, but I don't want to overwhelm you. The last thing that I want you to think is, Mera to hoga hi nahi. So many people are applying, mera hoga nahi. So don't worry. Just focus on
one more question. So I run a small business, ma'am, and generally my suppliers don't know me by my name. They know me by my firm's name.
Okay.
So if I want some LOR, so if you will, if ISB will mail them with my private email ID, so how will they reply or revert back? Like they don't know me by
They
my
have to
name.
fill the form. They have to fill the form. They don't have to reply to any email ID. They just have to fill the form. It's like a Google form. I send you a Google form. You submit your responses. That's it.
But ma'am, I don't have I don't have an experience of like for more than 4 years, and how will I convince them to write a LOR for me? That's
If
the
you're
major issue
not
for a
able to
business.
convince them, then they're possibly not the right people only. The right person is
Okay.
somebody who can pick up the phone and say that this is important to me. Can you do this for me? If you're so hesitant to even contact them, then it's a direct indication that he's not the right person at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody who's worked with you closely is also your guiding light, is your North Star, right? You should be able to pick up the phone and say that this is important to me. Can you help me give a recommendation to me? If you're so hesitant to even call or contact the person, you should know he's not the right person.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you and all the best. And we move on to next in queue, which is Rohit. Hi, Rohit. Please go ahead. I'm not sure if you're saying we cannot hear you. Hi, Rohit, we still cannot hear you.
He's probably not here, I think. So you can go on to the next person, I
We
guess.
move on to our next student. Hi, Naman. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. Thank you for staying so long.
Hi,
Kaushik sir. Thank you for staying so long. Hi, Sandeep sir. Thank you for staying so long. So, ma'am, I have already applied to the YLP stage 1 this year, and I'm expecting a result. So, I have heard you previously saying that college GPAs are important to us, like for the YLP candidates. Ma'am, for my personal case, like I was appearing for many competitive examinations along with my graduation. Like I did my CA foundation and inter along with CFA level 1. And kindly because of it, my graduation scores took a hit. And it's not that bad, but it's averaging around 7.5 to 8 GPA. So how will that affect my application? And will that CA inter and CFA level 1 substitute my college GPAs in some way?
So see, Naman, when I say that it is slightly more important, it's because understand that in stage 1, there are only 3 parameters on which you're evaluated: your scores, your essay, your extracurricular activities. Minimum nahi bhi to at least 25-30% is allocated to that, which is a good percentage. That's why I said it has better weightage. It has more weightage in YLP than PGP. But 7.5, 8 is not a bad score at all. Okay. It's not a good score. It's an average score, but there are other spikes in your profile, like your CFA and the CA things. So all the best to you. And let's see how the YLP team looks at it holistically, because I don't know how your essay has gone around. So they will also look into the essay and then overall take a call.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay. All the best, Naman. Stay put. December end. I think December 1st week, you should have your results. And we move on to Shanti again. Yes, please go ahead, Shanti.
Hello. Yeah, sorry, Richa. I just had a few follow-up questions.
No worries, please.
Yeah, so it's just that I've been in research all my life. And even though I graduated in 2014, like, I only have like like 3 years or 4 years of work ex. And most of the stuff I've worked with is confidential, either with DRDO, the Indian Defense, or it's with Boeing when I was in Seattle. So I cannot actually like disclose what I worked on. So how do I tackle that?
So you don't have to disclose the nuances of the project. Okay. Because like, for example, we had a DRDO scientist. We have a DRDO scientist on our campus. And he was also under tremendous, dilemma of how much and no more.
Exactly.
Right? So whatever is in your purview, whatever is doable, talk about the impact. You don't have to give us exact numbers. It's not a CV, HR CV. It's an education application form. So we're not looking at hardcore numbers. Just talk about your contribution.
Yeah, it's just that I've signed NDA, so I cannot legally, tell stuff.
Absolutely understandable.
Okay. Absolutely. And the other thing is like, how personal should the essay get? Like our journeys academically and professionally, I get it. But like the personal journey, like how much should we delve into?
Frankly speaking, there is no one placeholder for personal journey. Both the essays are very unique. One is on the career. The second is what you bring to the table, your uniqueness. But if you think setting a context is important, which is your life journey, please go ahead. But again, space is limited. In 400 words, you will have to set the context, come to the current present space, and then move to the future space. So whether you want to take that long route or whether you want to focus on now and then what you want to do next, I leave it to you.
Okay.
Okay. Sure. But there is no such placeholder for personal journal.
Okay. So
it's a very personal space of yours. We don't want to get there. We all respect that space. It's all about career professional stuff. You want to give weightage to it. You want to bring limelight on it. Your wish.
Okay, thanks. And just the last one, like, so the 3 years of experience is something I can give a certificate or something about, but the rest of the time I don't really have like a certificate or anything.
We don't want any certificates. If you have seen the application form, we are not asking for work experience documentation, only for working professional, last drawn salary slip for entrepreneurs or family business owners, last ITR or / last 3 months bank transaction. That's it.
Okay. And the master's doesn't really count as work ex, right? Even though I've taught all the 4 years I was there as a TA, I drew a salary. I had a tuition waiver all 4 years, but it was part-time. So I cannot enter that, can I?
No, you cannot.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. And good night.
Okay, and all the best.
Yeah, thank you.
And very quickly, moving on to Shreya. Hi, Shreya. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Richard. First of all, thank you for staying so long for us to answer for us.
No, I think we should also thank Sandeep sir and his team. I think they've been giving us this great opportunity to interact. So yes.
Yes, definitely. So my first question is around the sabbaticals. So is it allowed for the sabbatical?
Yes, absolutely. The only thing is that you will not be allowed to sit through placements.
Okay. And in between, we cannot decide on that. Like we have to give it on at the start of the like our
you
journey.
Have to. Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Okay. And the second question I have is around the scholarship. Like, what is the percentage of scholarship that is given generally to the candidates? Like, out of 900, how many gets, and
approximately
the average percentage?
Approximately 25%. So we have endowments to take care or cover 25% of the cohort.
Okay, so you said like there are 3 types of scholarship that you provide. I want to know if there are some organization through which we can ask for, because if we don't get it from ISB, so do we have any options and any or how do we get to know more about it if you want to know?
See, simply when you get the offer letter, you have to accept it. The definition of accepting offer letter is paying the school the fees. Whether you are paying it, the bank is paying it, or the donor is paying it, it's just fine. Accordingly, the invoice will be raised. So if your donor is paying it, the invoice will be raised in. So you will have to fill in a TDS form, right? Because the organization or the donor who's filling it will need that documentation to file his TDS. So we will know that you are a sponsored candidate. The certificate will be given to you. The TDS documentation will be given to you. So it's something which will happen much later. Once you've covered the first half, which is very critical, how to crack ISB, how to get into ISB. That is next step, and our finance team will take care of that. There is a set process again for that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, sure. No worries. Thank you and all the best, Shreya.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our next candidate, hi Sulek, over to you. Good evening. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello.
Hi, yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Hi, Richa.
Hi.
So I wanted to ask you that some time back you had mentioned that for candidates having 10 years of or more of profile, so e-commerce companies or some other companies come. So what kind of companies do you look for candidates having profile of 5-6 years, because they are not too high work ex people or not?
Sure. I got your question. So I think this was in a conversation with an armed forces official, and he wanted to have, it was a very specific question to his profile. There are other companies. If you look at the report, or if you recently attended our placement session last Wednesday, from consulting to product management to finance to pick up the industry, pick up the function, all the representation is right there. Over 15 plus representation is there in each of the category. So whatever you want, the team will get it for you. But that was a very specific conversation to that gentleman.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you. With that, we move on to our next question. Hi, Purnendu, over to you. Please go ahead with your question, please.
Hi, good evening, Richa ma'am, and thank you for Sandeep sir and his team for organizing such a wonderful session. Thank you, ma'am, for giving us such clarity with such holistic answers as well. I'm
Pleasure.
really grateful to you, ma'am.
Pleasure.
And just a brief context, ma'am. I've been managing a project here with the Ministry of Health for 7 states, but the issue is with my letter of recommendation. That once I have seeked it to my line supervisor, but it got redirected to the HR, to the regional director of my organization. And as you have mentioned, ma'am, the designation is not that of priority, rather what is there in the content, ma'am.
Very
so
true.
should I again reapproach my line supervisor for a personal approach through their personal mail ID, as you have mentioned?
Yes, you can do that.
And just going to the micro level of the process, ma'am, you mentioned that when we mentioned our recommender's email ID, and we
Yes.
are done with the application on the ISB page, within 5 minutes, the link is provided to the recommender's email ID, ma'am.
You don't even have to finish the submission of the application. As soon as you enter or as soon as you submitted the email ID, the email is triggered. You can trigger the email today while you can submit your application next week.
Later as well. Got it, ma'am. And the next thing was that once that link is opened by my recommender, will it be a questionnaire or will it be a type of letter they will have to type in?
Combination of subjective and objective questions, mostly objective. Just tick mark, tuck, 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 tuck on your various skills. Last 2-3 subjective questions on your contribution, strength.
So that's why you recommended that they can also use a phone over a laptop, ma'am.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great, ma'am. And just 2-3 quick queries, ma'am. When does the R1 window open? Like for the year 2024, when will it
R1
open?
by first week of April, as soon as we've announced the results of R3, which is typically March end, we will open up the portal for next year.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And just one more thing, ma'am. Since I was regarding the extracurriculars, since I was the cultural secretary of the Students' Union, but it was 8 years by now. So how do we need to prove my extracurriculars if I have to mention it in my
You can just mention it. We don't need proofs. We don't need any documents. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. And just one last query, ma'am. Do we have a number like for the percentage of salary hike of the PGP for the working professionals over the normal PGP program? Do we have a percentage of salary hike?
So 173% salary hike, that is for PGP. Okay. PGP is the only program which offers placement here. The others are part-time executive MBA programs. There are no placements for those programs.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right. Great, ma'am. Thank you so much once again.
Sure. Thank you so much. Pleasure all mine, Purnendu. All the best for your next stints. And with that, good evening, Dr. Venu. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Richa. My question is about the LOR. I'm wife of a defense officer and have been on a sabbatical for past 10 years.
Okay.
And during this time, I was associated with the Army Wives Welfare Association, which is non-profit, and we work towards the welfare of Army dependents.
Great.
So whom should I reach out to for my LOR? My previous employer with whom I worked in the year 2013, or the president of the Army Wives Welfare Association?
The president of the Army Wives Society.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you so much and all the best. And we move on to Adhiraj. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Richa. Good evening.
Good evening.
Actually, the question has already been answered, but it's a bit different related to my profile. So I'll just quickly explain you about that. I'm an architect and I graduated in 2017. Thereafter, I worked for 3 years in an architecture-based firm in India. And then I transitioned into a vertical, and I basically opened up a vertical in my father's firm, which has nothing related to architecture, but I opened up my own vertical over there.
Sure.
And I started my own firm with a partner. But the thing is that I got an opportunity in 2021 where I received a full scholarship plus stipend for my master's in Germany.
Okay.
But due to COVID, I was not able to go over there, and I was just basically working in the mornings and then attending classes in the evening. But it was a full-time course.
Sure.
So how should my experience be counted? Because till now, I am still working I'm in Germany, but I'm still working with my firm because I just keep going back and coming in.
Sure. So what you can do is,
I'm in Germany.
I got your question. Sure. So what you can do is you can mark your master's as part-time, your work experience as full-time.
Okay, I got that. And lastly, because I had worked, because I was working on my own, I don't have any person who can give me an LOR in terms of that. So should I just get an LOR from my private clients, or do you think I should go back to my previous firm, whom I had worked
Your clients.
for 3 years?
Clients
My
will
clients.
work. Yes,
Clients
absolutely.
will work. But
Clients
will it work, because I'm mostly doing residential and farmhouse projects?
Yeah.
So will it work, because they are all private clients? It's not
What
like
you could also do is, you just mentioned that your friend is your co-founder or co-partner in the firm,
Absolutely.
right? You can reach out to him for your LOR.
But he's also an architect, so I don't know, because he is of the same age as me. So I have literally no idea will that work or
Basically,
not. So
when I
that's
say of maturity, I'm not necessarily talking about age. I'm talking about the complexity of work that one handles, right? So if both of
Okay.
you all have started this together, your journey, your challenges, so it's just fine. You can do that.
it's absolutely fine then. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Richa, for answering these
Pleasure,
questions.
pleasure. Thank you so much. Okay, and we move to Sayan again. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Richa. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Loud and clear.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. Thank you for asking. Trust the same at your end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Firstly, I would like to thank you, Kaushik, and the whole Top 1% team to answer our questions so patiently.
Sure.
Secondly, I would like to ask one question. While placements, does the company look into your previous salary? Like I'm a working professional, like 6 years now. So
No,
does the
they
company?
don't. Whether it be your previous salary, whether if you are supposed, for example, just randomly throwing an example, if you want to move into consulting, if you don't have any prior consulting, it will not impact. That day I mentioned, right? On that day, your knowledge will be the key determinant or the key deciding factor. That's it.
Right, got it.
You will not be also treated as a fresher. If you want to, let's say, move into product management, you have zero work experience in that PM role. You will not be treated as a fresher. Your 6 years of work experience is not negated. You will only build on from here.
I see. Yeah, that brings me to my second question. Like, will I be considered for senior roles, or like with 6 years of experience, or how it?
You'll be in the mid-senior roles. Typically, senior roles happen after 8-10 years of experience. That's a separate category. We call it a senior executive club. It's for folks having more than 8 years of experience.
Right. So, is it differentiated from the college itself, or when the company comes?
The companies come only with very specific roles, because 5-6 years is sweet spot here in ISB. So mostly mid-senior roles profile fall in the 5-6 years. Automatically, right? The kind of experience that you will bring with 6 years vis-a-vis somebody who's bringing in with 20 years cannot be comparable, right?
Definitely.
So
thank you so much. It answers. Yeah.
Right, sure. Thank you. Thank you. All the best. And we move on to next student. This is Bala Sahib. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Richa. Hope everything is well.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
So I would like to thank you, Kaushik, Sandeep sir, and entire team for organizing this. And we are almost close to 3 hours, and we are being so patient. So
we must thank you for having that patience, staying this long, still not giving up. So thank you for that.
So the question is that you mentioned that when it comes to need-based scholarship,
yes,
and for working professional, you are going to see the pre-ISB salary, right?
Yes, yes.
So can you give me some math as to how do you calculate how much percentage salary will be getting based on how much
whatever
one is drawing?
document that you're submitting to me, either your last ITR, your last salary slip, or whatever you're declaring with us, your official declaration to the IT team.
Okay.
The income tax.
But that I mean the salary slip, considering the expenses that goes post like salary, so that will not be considered into that calculation then, right?
No, it's your overall take home, your CTC.
Okay, understood. And the second question is that I am also associated with Toastmasters International, and so it's been almost 1.5 years, and there's one senior member in the club. He has been with Toastmasters for more than 20 years. So can I take a LOR from him? because he knows me so well.
Toastmaster is, I see more as, is it your professional? Are you pursuing it as a profession?
Not as a profession, but
Your
like
side gig, right? It's your side
yeah,
gig. So
correct.
I wouldn't recommend that, because this guy will be more, the two of y'all are not running your own startup. There is no monies involved here, right? Imagine the pressure of having targets, of having deliverables, and then you have to perform, and then you have to handle people, and then you have to handle everybody's expectation. That canvas is different, right? So
right.
I wouldn't recommend this then.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, sure. Thank you. All the best. Hi, Sabarish. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Richa. Can you hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Hi. Yeah, so I just had a question regarding my profile and the application, because since you mentioned full-time work experience is only after graduation. Now, unfortunately, life happens because I have nearly 5+ years of work experience. But unfortunately, I'm pursuing a correspondence degree.
Okay.
So, right. So I hopefully I'll get my provisional certificate by March.
Okay.
So still, technically, I'm still a 12th pass at this particular moment, but I have 5+ years of experience. And the only mode that I have compared to others with such impressive profile is what impact I've created in the work. I've been fortunate enough to work in a EV startup. I'm presently working with the CEO itself.
Yep.
So I was fortunate enough, they have seen the potential in me, not the background.
Yeah.
But then again, I would like you to give me an honest answer, not sugarcoat. Like, this is what it is for me. 5+ years of experience, but again, by March I would have my.
By March you'll get your degree. That's not a problem, because work experience which you have. So it's just obvious. It's just okay to have after 12th worked and then done graduation. So with respect to calculation of work experience, not so much of damage will be done. But yes, you'll have to understand that the 3 years that you're doing your graduation, that work experience will be considered as part-time. While the impact and your learnings nobody can take, that you can still bring to the table, you can still have it in your conversation, still stitch it in your essay. So all of that is just fine. But in the overall calculation, that 3 years you'll have to take hit. That's period. Nothing can be done about it.
3 years, I mean, unfortunately, it did take me more than 3 years for graduation. So yeah, so that's
your
that's
start date and your March, which is the end date, any experience in that tenure will be calculated as part-time.
It will be calculated as part-time. Okay, I see. But again, I can integrate that in the essay and
yes.
And you also mentioned that the GMAT. So my last hope to cover the academics and experiences, the GMAT score.
Yeah.
If I perform well there. But since you mentioned that that's not something that you have access to, so how does that in my profile itself? How would GMAT help me in?
See, it will give you this designated score, okay, in the overall profiling, but it's just one of the component. So maybe other components can be so great or can be so bad that can make or break your story. So it's just one of many other components. So very difficult to comment. Yeah.
Right. So I can still apply with 5 years of part-time experience.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Okay. I see. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sure. Thank you. Okay, and we move on to our next candidate. And on my screen, it says design department. So I'm allowing you to please go ahead, ask your question, but please introduce yourself first.
Hi, Mom, can you hear me?
Yes, please help me with your name.
I'm Samira. Actually, I didn't know I logged in from my company's ID. I'm so sorry.
No
I'm a
worries.
fashion
I'm taking the
designer.
liberty to rename you. So hi, Samira.
Hi. Okay. Very good morning, ma'am. I think I hope you're doing good, and thank you very much for your patience, I should say. Okay.
Likewise. Thank you for your patience. Yeah.
My quick small questions. Basically, you have mentioned that we should submit the last 3 months bank statement. So here
only for entrepreneurs, huh? Only for entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur.
Okay. Because my salary, I didn't get my salary for 2 months. So will that affect my application? Or one more thing, I'll get my salaries in halves and halves. Like if I'll have to say 25,000 once and 25,000 next. So will that affect?
No.
My application?
The value of that document does not impact us.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Sure.
One
Thank
more question. Okay, no, I'm so sorry. One more question I have is, I did my electronics and communication engineering,
Okay.
and I pursued I did my diploma in fashion designing for 1 year, and I'm a senior head designer, I should say, and I'm head operations. So I'm thinking of this. Now my doubt is, I'm not sure whether I'll be able to get a good GMAT score. So I did services like in jail, we have given employment to so many jailers. So we have helped oppressed women too. And I think I have a good story to tell in my 5 years of experience. So, and then I think I can get a letter of recommendation from, I think a strong letter of recommendation, I should say. So will this work? Because I'm not sure I'll be able to get the good GMAT score.
This
So
is
how
a
do you?
well, from whatever little that I've heard, is very interesting. But you should never tell yourself that I don't think I'll be able to get this score.
I'm so sorry.
Why are you? So we all know, right, that whatever we keep telling our mind, that is what we'll ultimately achieve. So keep telling yourself, I'll crack it. I'll crack it. So it's not done till it's done. If you've not written the test, don't judge yourself ki nahi hoga or you'll possibly get less score. So you still have an opportunity. You still have your slot open. You still yet to write your exam. Please go full out. Go all guns blazing. Don't give up.
Okay, because from November 1st itself, I have started my preparation and I want the admission to be in next year, 2023 March. So am I very ambitious?
No.
Will that these many months of preparation will work, right? Because my job schedule is
Frankly speaking, to each his own. Okay. Again, I won't be the right person to comment at all, because in my various interactions with students and alums, I've had an alum who in one of my info sessions stood up and addressed the entire cohort, the entire audience, and said, I only prepared for 15 days. I've had students who said, I've taken 2-3 months. Everybody's journey is different, Samira. You're giving your mocks, you're preparing, you have already tested the waters, you know your current standing and your position. So, or reach out to the team here who's present. They are the best guides, your mentors who can tell you where you are, how much more time you need. But for ISB, there is no right time, wrong time. You don't even want to know how much time you took.
Okay. Thank you so much. One more question here is about the letter of recommendation. Can I get it from someone with whom I didn't work, or it has to be my boss? Like even
not just your boss, but someone you worked with. Because
okay,
believe
I have
me,
actually
the kind of questions that are there, if you've not worked with that person, he will not do justice. He'll just randomly do some storytelling, and that can, sort of
actually he has
be
seen me.
detrimental. And
Actually, he has seen me working with my boss, but I think he is. Matlab
he's your mentor. By the definition, whatever definition that you've given, this guy, this person comes across as a mentor. So I wouldn't recommend.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, don't jeopardize your case by choosing a wrong person. He's a nice person, but not the right recommender.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think you have cleared all of my doubts. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Have a
Thank
nice
you. Thank
have a
you.
nice day. Bye-bye.
All right. So we move on to Karthik. Hi, Karthik. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening, Richa. Hope you're doing good.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask one thing. Like, I graduated last year, and as of now, I have 1.3 years of work ex. So I was actually wondering, like, if I consider to apply in round 2, like, what factors should I consider to apply to ISB? Whether I should apply in round 2 through early admit round this year, or after, since I'm not eligible to be a part of cohort next in March, I guess. So, or whether should I apply next year through direct entry route?
Okay, so you have two options. You can either give this year a pass, only apply next year. That is just fine. You can also do another thing, or rather the intelligent way, apply this year, get a feedback in case things go south. You get a feedback, what is low, what is not working in your application form. You're absolutely eligible to apply again next year. Work on the gaps, build a strong case, apply again next year.
Okay,
as the
makes sense.
reapplicant.
Yeah, makes sense. And another thing, like between round 2 and round 3, since I'm applying through the early entry option, how much importance does round have?
Not for
Uh,
early entry
yeah,
folks.
so like I can even apply through round 3 also, right?
Yes.
So that I can give my preparation a little more time.
Yes, yes, you can do that.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. All right. Hi, Vaibhav. Please go ahead with your question. Unmuting you.
Oh, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Vaibhav here. So, ma'am, actually, I'm a third year student pursuing BBA.
Okay.
So actually, I don't have so much of extracurricular activities in my college years, and actually, I've been associated with my family business. Like I'm a partner of the family business, so I
Okay.
don't have that much of time for extracurricular activities.
Perfect. So for YP
And
students, this becomes your extracurricular activity.
okay, ma'am. And for my LOR, so I'm a partner with my father. So can my father write LOR or not?
No. You have
Okay,
clients,
so
you have customers, go out to them.
okay, ma'am. And actually, so far I have done couple of internships as well. So like they can write LOR or not?
They can write LOR. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
They can.
Okay,
Not
thank
your
you.
family member, please. No family members, no relatives, please, in LOR.
Okay, thank you. And for if I choose for early entry option, so like the family business can be considered or not?
As a valid work experience, yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Thank you. All the best. Yes, Yash, please go ahead with your question. We've unmuted you, Yash. Can you go ahead with your question?
Hi, Richa, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
now I can. Yes, hi.
Very good evening. Yeah.
Good
so
evening.
I have a question related to LOR. So
Sure.
I have 5 years of experience with 3 employers. Third one I have joined recently, 2 months back. So I have a question related. Can I take LOR from my first employer, which I have joined in 2018 to 2020? Is it
Yes, you can.
recommendable to take?
Yes, you can.
You can. Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Moving on very quickly to Pankaj. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Richa.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear. Please tell me.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for taking in time to address our questions. It's been pretty much close to 3 hours. And I'd like to first thank Sandeep sir and the team for taking this time on a Sunday evening to address this. Richa, first of all, I'd like to let you know that I have close to 18.5 years of experience in the IT industry.
Okay.
With 17 years being with TCS, I have close to 12 years of on-site experience in Europe and US.
Sure.
I worked for Fortune 50 clients and just came back from on-site before COVID happened.
Sure.
And I worked in different leadership programs. I applied in round 3 last year.
Sure.
And essentially, I enrolled for Sandeep sir's program just before COVID, but unfortunately my mom passed away and there were separate instances that happened in my life which I didn't have control over. So I couldn't manage a reasonable score that I could apply with to ISB. So my score was 560 last time I took the GMAT. So that was in round 3. I had a question on reapplying. How do I rewrite my essay to create an impact and all that? I mean,
So what I will
have
do
been
is, Pankaj, that because you're a reapplicant, what I can do is that possibly maybe tomorrow we can connect and I can personally look into the details because we have access for reapplicants. We're absolutely, there's no conflict of interest and we're absolutely eligible to do that. So we can possibly take it offline and I will be able to, because I'll have to first look at the remarks and the various components. And I think we can take it probably tomorrow and I'll be able to help you.
Makes sense, Richa. Thank you so much for
Sure,
taking
thank
that
you.
up.
Thank you so much for taking our time and staying with us for this long, and all the best for your upcoming round, maybe this year.
Thank you so much, Richa. Thank you so much, Sandeep sir, for having this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. With that, moving on to Sanchit. Please go ahead, Sanchit.
Hello. Hi, Richa.
Yes, hi.
I have like two questions.
Sure.
First is that I'm an Indian engineer male with 9 years of work ex,
Yes.
right? Including 4 years of startup experience.
Yeah.
Right. So I haven't started with my application part right now,
Okay.
but I'm in the last phase of my GMAT prep.
Okay.
Right. I wanted to ask for the next 3 weeks,
Yeah.
what should be my focus to be like should I just focus on improving my GMAT score and apply by 740 score in round third, or apply with 700 score in round 2?
Great. So again, both are doable. You can also apply with 700, 720 in R3 also, if you think that, your startup experience, irrespective of, Indian engineer and doing various stuff. If you think you can spin in your startup story, and if it is something very, very stellar, it could be a game changer, then definitely you can go ahead with R3. But if you are writing your exam on or before December 4th, if you're ready with everything for next 2-3 weeks, I think 75% focus on your GMAT, 25% focus on your application form. You will be able, all the other elements are very easy. The only time consuming is your essay. Okay. If you're not yet have done the reflection of these are my strengths, this is what is unique about me, and this is my career journey. If that homework is not done, then maybe that will take time. And that's the only component in the application form which takes time. Other than that, everything is fairly simple: name, personal details, your academic history, your progression, career progression. It's everything there. It's inked on the wall. So essays take time. So just focus 25% on essays.
I haven't started with the application part at all.
No worries. That's okay. A lot of students only work on it one day before, and they make the mistake. They don't, then, they don't think through much in the essays. Essays need at least 1 day, 1-2 days, not 1 hour.
Right, right. So what do you recommend that I should be spending the time in making the application by taking a toll on the score, or I should just focus on the score first?
Don't take a toll on your score. And exactly that, don't just keep focusing on your score first. While half an hour a day, just if you let go of some of your digital time, just half an hour a day while you're traveling, if you just spend half an hour on that application form, can you just go and enter your name in that application form? It'll just take the load off. Or like every other student, or at least start working on the essay. Take a Word document and start writing. At least do that. Other than that, you can do after your GMAT GRE. If it at least give 1 day.
You are saying that I can start with the application process, but it's okay to apply in the R3 with a better GMAT score. I think you're saying that, right?
So I leave it to you. If you're not confident of your story,
I am confident about my story, but it will take time. The experience and everything, the story can be really good, but it will take time. That is for sure.
If you're confident with R3, then please go for it. Because ultimately you have to carry your application till the interviews. I can only advise you and share my experiences, but ultimately we have to be at peace with ourselves at the end of the day. If you're comfortable with R3, please then go for that.
Okay, fine, got it.
Yeah,
thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
And my question too, basically to prove my startup experience, a personal bank statement is required, or a company bank statement would be fine?
So if you are right now part of your startup, the company bank statement will be required.
No, I have left the startup. I have sold my startup. Now
Okay.
I'm
currently, what are you doing?
I'm in a job.
Then I need your last salary slip.
Salary slip. Okay, fine. Got it. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. All the best, Sanjit. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Hi, Abhishek. Please go ahead with your question.
Yes, ma'am. Talking about unconventional backgrounds, we have a work ex of around 5 years. I've worked in Mumbai with different production houses, but they've basically been stints of short stints, because we work basically freelance.
Yeah.
So, and I have their work ex letters with me, but I don't have the salary slip. So, and what kind of a letter of recommendation, to whom should I ask of?
So the head of the production house could be your recommender or your project manager, somebody who's getting those projects for you. He's coming to you regularly. That means he's seeing potential in you. So he's your right recommender. And with respect to proof of salary, if you don't have a salary slip, then last 3 months bank statement. Wherever the project, I'm assuming if they're giving you one shot, one consolidated thing, or maybe 50% advance now and at the end of the project, the latter. So just give that bank transaction, that will also help.
Okay, so but just the letter, the work ex letter won't work. I need the slip. Right?
I don't need the work experience. I just there is only in the application form one requirement to upload your salary slip or ITR or bank statement. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, moving on to Hiren. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi, Richa.
Hi.
Good evening, and thank you for staying so long.
Pleasure, thank you.
So my question is like little bit background about myself. Like I have 7 years of work experience, and after that I did my MBA.
Okay.
And post MBA I don't have any work ex.
Okay.
And I'm trying thinking to apply for ISB. So
Okay.
I'm not yet ready with my GMAT score. I have started my preps right now.
Okay.
So in the R3, I just remember that you mentioned that for R3, 80-85% of the seats would be filled.
Yes.
So for a particular background of applicants, there would be a lot of competition. So would I be considered as an engineer or as an MBA? Because I don't have post MBA experience.
So see, basically your academic diversity is that of an engineering background, but that is not so much of importance to us vis-a-vis as compared to, you know, your work experience and the impact that you're creating. So you have not started working yet. You are definitely not a YLP candidate. You are an early entry option. So do you plan to start something of your own? You could talk about that. If there is a particular kind of job profile that you want to move into, that is something. So your future goals is something that you'll be able to talk. You will not be able to talk about your challenges at work, etc. So you will have to talk about what you aspire to become, how did it trigger, etc. Those are the things that you'll have to typically pick up.
Okay, so I mean, I just wanted to know, like, is there
any which ways you're an EO candidate, right? So your admission to the program is 2 years from now. So you consider it as this way that you are already blocking that one seat for yourself 2 years in advance. So EO candidates, YLP candidates don't have to worry about elements of engineering, non-engineering. You're applying, you're getting into the system well in advance.
So even though I have 7 years of work prior to my MBA, that won't count.
So, but you just said that after your MBA, so basically between graduation and MBA, I'm sorry, I think I missed that. So between your graduation and MBA, you have 7 years of experience?
Yes.
Okay, my bad. I think I missed that point. Then you are a direct admit. I missed it. I thought, you know, it's directly after the graduation. So you are a direct admit. And in that case, yes, I think you should be gunning for the admission this year, and totally depends on your story then, Hiren.
Okay, I mean, I just want to...
So post academic diversity is engineering versus non-engineering. That is one mix that we see, but that is not going to impact your candidature in any way, because what you do next is more important. Your whole career story is important. So whatever you've done in 7 years, that's important. What you want to do next, that is important.
Okay. And one more thing, like in the applications, you mentioned that we need to upload either the ITR or the bank statement. So is there any like bank balance which we need to show or something?
No, please, no. Please don't misread things. It's proof of employability. You're a working professional, upload your salary slip. If you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a salary slip, ITR or 3 months bank transaction. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, yes. The value of the document is not important. I think I just mentioned this to someone some time back.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, Medha, please go ahead with your question. Hi, Medha, can you hear us? We cannot hear your question though.
We can go ahead with the next person in that case.
Okay, great. Harshita, please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Richa. Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, absolutely. Please go ahead.
Actually, I have one question. As I've seen that there are so many people with such high experience, as high as 10 or 12 years, so their salaries must be inflating the average salary that the institute showcases. So what I'm trying to ask is, how do people with 2-3 years of experience, what are the kind of roles that they get? What are the kind of salaries that the people with 2 to 3 years of experience get?
Sure. So Harshita, two things. If you've checked our website or our placement report, the average is calculated, and this is not just ISB, this is global practice, is considered as mid 80% range. We remove both the tails. We remove the senior folks' salary, and we remove the salaries of all of those folks who are working with NGO or in social sector, because we understand that they agree to take that hit because social sector doesn't pay as much as the MNC guys pay. So this is a global standard practice. Both the tails are removed. These numbers are the central 80%, the mid 80% range that we talk about. Okay. So these numbers are not getting skewed by the senior executive salaries. Second, the folks or the students who are in the 2 to 4 years of experience, even their average salary is 28 lakhs. And they are also typically in the mid-senior range. Of course, you will not be getting the senior leadership roles because they are for folks with high number of years of experience.
Yes, that's understandable. Thank you.
That's that, yeah. Thank you. All the best. Yes, and we have Saket and Samira back again. Please go ahead. We'll go with Saket first. He's next in line. Yes, go ahead, Saket.
Am I audible?
Now I can hear you. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually my question was like I was on and off, I was between places, so for the call maybe it is a repeated question, I don't know. So like I did my graduation with an average CGPA, and like you said that for selection and for the interview process, your CGPA, your 10 12s and your GMAT and your work ex, like the application will be of most importance. So whether the college is also preferred, like a good college or maybe a state level college or a national college?
No.
Is there any preference like that?
Nothing? No preference. You could be coming from any college. That's okay.
Okay.
Any city.
And like the preference of all the 5, like you said, whether the work ex or the kind of work that you do, how you influence your company and how you have affected your company, all together will be taken as a 1 point, or whether the first selection process will be with respect to CGPA, 10 12th and GMAT, and the next will be with respect to the work ex and the work that we are doing?
So these move parallelly, Saket. It's an overall aggregation of all of these scores. So it's not independent. The next step or this next evaluation is not independent of the first step. These are all parallel processing which is happening. Overall, the total score is important.
Okay, and just one more doubt, like I am from an automobile sector having a work ex of around 10 years.
Yeah.
So like I have different experience in assembly frame, in a like greenfield project, in quality, as well as in new model development. So whether this experience is considered as diverse, because I'll be applying in the second round or the third round. So
Yeah,
as per
absolutely.
your
You are the king of your story. And definitely auto is a less represented industry or segment in the campus. So you can pitch it as diversity. Again, there is no, that's the beauty of the word diversity. It has no set boundaries. You can get as creative as possible. So feel free to build your story, spin it around. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Sure, thank you. All the best, Saket. And we move on to Samira again. Yes, please go ahead, Samira.
Hello, ma'am. One more question.
Sure.
Actually, yeah, once I finished my engineering from Hyderabad, G. Naranama College, I wrote ISET and I got MBA admission in Osmania University.
Okay.
So I went for, I think 1 week, I should say, and I discontinued. I felt like I should do my MBA from some business school. So
Sure.
I left Osmania University ka seat. So I got the certificates as discontinued first semester. So my point to you is, should I mention this in my application in my interview, or should I hide this thing? How is it? Is it good that I got seat in Osmania University, or is it bad that I left MBA?
No, so again, be intelligent, Samira. It is not important cog in the wheel. Okay. You attended it for a week and then you left it. If I was in your place, I wouldn't even give it a place in my entire application form.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not adding to any of the story. Why do you want to give it that space at all? First of all, because you've not completed it, the system will not allow you to enter it only, because there has to be a start date, end date. So that's the first technical glitch that you will face. Second, it's not important. It's not fitting in the story only. Give it a pass.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And our last question tonight, and this one's from Medha. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead. Hi,
Yeah.
Medha. Good evening.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. So my question is, you had mentioned that to the LOR, for the LOR,
yes,
Google form is sent to the recommended.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Your voice was choppy.
Sorry, I'm saying that for the LOR,
yes,
a Google form is sent to the recommender.
A form similar to Google form. It's not a Google form.
Okay, so I just wanted to know if it's a standard set of questions or say differs. Because for most of the B schools, I've seen that you can, just upload a PDF as a LOR from the...
This is standard set of questions. No PDF to be uploaded. Your recommender has to just duly fill in that form.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. And all the best to everybody, to all the lovely audience. And with that, I'd like to now hand over it back to Sandeep sir and his team.
All right. Thanks, Richa. First of all, it's been fantastic listening to you. First of all, so many things that we've been telling students for many years, they got reconfirmed and reiterated in a very, very structured way. Thank you for your patience and empathy. They're stellar. There's no one I've heard someone who doesn't get irritated by having so many questions asked of them. There's almost 3 hours that you've been answering. It's absolutely wonderful listening to you. Obviously we've been doing this for many years, so we do know but it has been the way you have really, really conducted this till the last student. It has been absolutely commendable. And thanks for your time, and let these people reach out to you and really let that journey begin. Extremely happy that we did this, because I've not seen a professional, someone who will take this level of pains probably to, no, it's not about the Sunday, it's not about anything else. So all of us, whosoever is remaining, let's really, really join in thanking her. This has been just absolutely privileged.
Humbled, totally humbled. I think this is my true success. I think. Thank you. These kind words.
Know what it takes, but come on, you must be loving your job so much. I can't even begin to tell you. This is absolutely stellar, amazing, and the empathy that you have to to each person applying, because we understand everybody's story is different, but it's still fatigue, it's still exasperation, it's still some sort of when does it end finally? So, but this is just incredible. It's great learning for me also, as to how probably to teach my students, how to talk to them, how to really respect their space and still help them at the end of the day, no matter what the number of questions they might pose. Thanks a lot here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And this coming from you means a lot. Thank you so much. And I must first thank you and your entire team for this wonderful, wonderful session. I have been totally loving all the love that you guys have been showering at us on social media. So beautiful content. So shout out to your team who's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, my team has done an absolutely fantastic job for the last 10 days, though I wasn't hands-on because I was traveling for work. They've done a fabulous job. So
fabulous job. I've been receiving so many comments. Even my father called me and said, I saw you on Facebook, and I was like, thank you.
It's really wonderful, and it's important because a lot of students who join us, ISB is one of their choices for sure. It's very rare that somebody would say, I'm giving ISB a complete pass. So it's very rare, maybe 2-3% of the people. But everybody applies to ISB more or less. So, and the GMAT, the GRE, both the programs, and you've really been wonderful handling everybody. And hats off to your empathy and your understanding of behavior in general. And this is just incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much again. And thank you so much, lovely audience, for staying this long. 42 of you all still here in the window. You've been with us for almost 4 hours, almost 3.5 hours. So big shout out to you. Sunday evening, I hope it was well spent. all the best, guys, for whatever endeavor that you wish to embark on. My heart goes out to you. Wish you all the success. Thank you, team behind it. Thank you, Kaushik. Thank you, TOP team. You've been a great team. Together we've nailed it, I must say
You've
this.
been reaching out to us for quite some time, and eventually this could happen. So I was in the background as everything was really passed on to me. But yeah, we got to talk only here for the very first time. Fabulous interacting with you, Richa.
Fabulous, fabulous. And please do let us know whenever you're in Hyderabad. We would love to host you at the campus.
Right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I'll definitely be in touch. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night. And guys, have a great evening. Whatever is left of it, please have dinner. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you so much, Richa. Have a great night. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.